Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
It's not the weekend. Hello, SOR. I'm the Cryptid Huntress, and I'm taking over for Dave Scott tonight. I'm in the captain's chair. Once again, I had such a wonderful night last night. What a great show. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight and for being there last night. Man, this has been such a blessing. We welcome you guys to Spaced Out Radio tonight. If you haven't hit subscribe yet on YouTube, please do that. We would love to have you guys join us on this crazy ride that we're on. Spaced Out Radio. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio Show. Spaced Out Radio. Okay. Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. And on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. You guys can find me at thecryptidhuntress.com. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Cryptid Huntress. Visit my shop, War Woman Goods, on Etsy if you'd like. I sell beautiful vintage Native American jewelry and a whole bunch of other really nice stuff. Okay, please join me at Las Vegas. We are having the Spaced Out Radio Las Vegas fan party, and the Cryptid Huntress will be there. And I would love for y'all to come. It is going to be on May the 19th through the 21st. And if you would like to get a VIP ticket, you guys will be getting a swag bag and access to a big old VIP party Friday night. I'll be there. The whole crew is going to be there that night. And if you're planning to get one of those VIP tickets, please send an email to info@spacedoutradio.com so that we know you're coming. We need a head count so that we can have enough merch and all that kind of stuff to give out to everybody. And yeah, it's going to be a really good time. I can't wait. Also, if anybody's in Georgia on April the 1st, I am going to be presenting. I'm not really presenting. I'm just going to be there and speaking at the Georgia Bigfoot Conference. It's pretty informal, to be honest with you. It's going to be a good time at the Dillard House in Georgia, Northeast Georgia. Y'all come see me. Okay, and then after I go to the Las Vegas fan party, I'm flying out to Grafton, Illinois. I'm going to be really presenting with like a PowerPoint and everything. Okay, at the Journey to Truth Conference. That's in Grafton, Illinois. So you guys come see me there as well. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to have a really good time. I know you guys will too if y'all come join me. Okay, well, I have an amazing guest here for us tonight at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, Dave Scott will be back. He's going to be back on Tuesday night. I'm doing the show tonight, and then we've got Marquise coming on Monday to take over. And y'all are going to see me tomorrow night and Sunday too. I have my show Off the Trails, and I have Nick Valente coming on tomorrow night, and Jesus Payan Jr. coming on Sunday night. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. And so, yeah, let's get to our guest tonight because Travis Moostoos is here. And we have a lot to talk about, especially after last night's show. We're going to be maybe discussing some of the stuff that I talked about with our guest last night, tonight with Travis. Travis Willier Moostoos is an actor, artist, and writer. Starred in APTN, Secret History of the Wild West, and various other shows across many different platforms. Travis is a knowledge story holder of his Cree people in his area in northern Alberta, Canada, and is an active UFO paranormal investigator. Here today to share some of his experiences with UFOs, Bigfoots, that's my thing, and ancient connections of Native America to the Star Nations and the universe beyond. How perfect is this tonight? I have Travis Willier Moostoos here at spacedoutradio. Once again, he's a fan favorite. What's up, Travis?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me back. It's a pleasure to be back.
Of course.
Yes.
Yes. Listen, you're like I said, you're one of the fan favorites. And also, speaking of fan favorites, we have Dirty Filth here with us tonight, and he's going to be doing some artwork for us. And he is our resident artist and amazing at that. So thank you for being here, Filth. We appreciate you. Okay. All right, Travis. Wow. I'm not sure if you were able to catch the show last night that we did with the Strongs, Stephen and Evan. But what they presented last night really changes history as we know it. I would say, I was going to say, if it's real, if it's proven real, I think it's real, man. I absolutely do. I do believe that we did not just, come from primates or whatever. I feel it in my soul that we did come from the stars. And I don't know. I mean, what do you think? I mean, were you able to watch that last night and get a glimpse into their reality last night?
There are many different creation stories out there, and all are necessary and insightful. I was very pleased to hear a lot of their stuff, and thank you to them for sharing that. There's some first thing I say, first and foremost. The ultra terrestrials definitely are beyond our realities that we comprehend, and they interact with us on many different levels. Like we're picking up frequencies and we're not even realizing it. There's so many different different levels to this reality and dimension that we're just not receiving and picking up. And and in that blind sight and inside of that realm of that happening is these beings, ultra terrestrials, and they're always they're so entwined with the universe, and as we are connected, they're able to manipulate that energy and actually flow with us and around us. And that's right into our dreams and visions and everything, right to our thoughts. And it gets pretty intense. So
very intense. And what they were talking about last night were, we mentioned the petroglyphs. I believe they're called, I forgot the name of them. I was going to say Glaston glyphs or Godfrey glyphs. They have UFOs on them and things like that, which actually really reminded me of a rock up in North Carolina here in the United States, in the Cherokee area. It's called Judicola Rock. And I've been there before, and I'm friends with some of the elders of the Cherokee who took me there actually. And they have a very, very strong connection to the star people, okay? And Chief David always told me that those are his ancestors, and he would call in the sky ships over cachers is what they call them. Well, the locals know it as the sky ships over cachers. He knows it as his ancestors and his people. Yep. And he would call them in and we would see them. I mean, it was almost like he manifested UFOs to fly over us for the whole weekend that I was there, which I thought was very interesting. And I mentioned that last night. So,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah, they do connect. Like I was saying there, they do connect with us when we're throwing out that energy. It does get picked up and received, and it does fall back. And and sometimes this energy vibration, it's so highly tuned into different like things that we're doing in our life and our just like the moments in space and time. Maybe it's divine timing, and people are just at a heightened sense that they're able to see that, and it's able to connect. And other people around, they can't see it. And there's
not everybody can see it. You're right. I love that.
And it's literally because people are open like such at a higher frequency, and they're so open and connected to the universe that these things are also being able to be seen. So, hello everybody! Thank you for tuning in and watching. I just seeing some of the hellos there. Appreciate it. But yeah, like I was saying, it's very connected, and we're all very connected to it. And I'm totally on board with the whole idea of them being our ancestors and totally connected with us in that galactic family. Yes.
Yes, dog face. Dave Scott is going to have an issue with that. I know he loves Travis's hair, but Dave Scott does have good hair too, okay? And so I just have to put it out there. Travis does have the best hair on YouTube. Dave Scott is there. I think they're neck and neck, okay? I'm just going to say. That's all I'm going to say, because I'm loyal to Dave here, but I love Travis. Your hair is beautiful, okay? Beautiful. Wait, where do I fit in all this? Oh, come on now. I'm just kidding. Yes. So okay. So at the very end of everything that we talked about last night, I really appreciated that they brought up that it's important to have a vibrational frequency that is high, and that the Earth is changing right now, Travis. Don't you think? The Earth is changing, and we are changing, and there's a timeline split. That's my opinion. And there's people that are ascending, and there's people that are just with their necks in the sand. And on a spiritual level, and I know that you are a very spiritual human, much like myself, but you're probably way more spiritual than I am. I'm just saying there's a split right now, and it's important for us to keep our vibrational frequency high, to learn how to do that, and to live out of the frequency of love. And I feel you absolutely do that. But I like to, I never preach it or whatever, but I do encourage it to anyone who's watching my shows. So yeah, how do you feel about that?
Oh, it's yeah, definitely. The world is always in a state of change, and it's it's up to the frequencies, and I feel like people, when they gravitate with that higher frequency and they start to get more in tune with it, it just all starts to flow. And like you said, that love of the universe flows in, right? And it's that's part of it, right? And the awakening is definitely taking place. Like I see a lot of people becoming more aware, and that's good. I'm happy with that. That's I'm proud of that. So I'm getting a lot of messages online, and people are telling me they're connecting with a lot of these earthly spirits out there in the woods. And like I said, the portals are opening, and there's like a lot of magic in the air, like a lot of like different elementals just flying around, and they're just there. And this positivity is there for us to connect with it. It is our connection, like it is our nature, is in our life. And so like I said, like you said, it's I encourage it too. I'm happy when people get to make that honest connection, especially with being in tune with the universe.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're all noticing this more now, and especially our audience at Spaced Out Radio, they are so in tune. Everybody that and especially in the chat, like we're all on the same frequency, or else we wouldn't be here right now, right? So why do you think that is? Like, do you think that is it's just a time that we've come to at this point, to where, I mean, cryptids are being seen more right now. I mean, we're having experiences that we've never had before. Do you think this because the veil is thin? Like, what does that even mean? It's almost like there's a lot more electromagnetic energy going on. So there, a lot of these frequencies are getting more heightened in all of us, in our own beings too. So a lot of people are starting to see this, and I'm literally gravitate with the universe and the earth, and this is literally like the earth is a giant being in itself too. So this being connects with us as well, and this being also helps us connect with the universe around. And like I said, all this energy coming in, and all these different beings from outside our world too, and dimensions are visiting as well. And a lot of our ancient people, like past, like all across the world, have these connections with these beings, and had these visitations and these encounters, and a lot, like through our time, we seem to have forgotten it. And that's what the veil is us unforgetting and remembering. A lot of these beings want to be remembered, and want to be found again, and a lot of these like places and stuff are going to be found again. And wow.
And it's all going to come back.
At the point now. So we're at the point to actually come back together with the beings. Is that what you're saying? Like we've come to a pinnacle of reconnecting? Yes. And not only that, but we'll also connect with
we'll discover our past, and also discover their past and our past connection to the universe in itself too, like where a lot of these ancient civilizations are in our galaxy and galactic home, and it's going to be amazing in that sense. And a lot of these beings have a lot of the information with them too, and they're willing to share that too, and give visions and pictures and all these sorts of insights into the other realms and to the other side of I should say the galaxy.
Well, I have to say, I feel like my psychic abilities, like I've always been, I've always been psychic. We're all psychic, okay? I do remote viewing. So do you. I love that. We're both remote viewers, and but I feel like the past year, maybe 2 years, 3 years at the most, I have been my abilities have just gone through the roof. I mean, and I'm not bragging by any means at all, but I've come to some connection, I guess. I'm not sure what's going on. And like I said, like, is the veil thinned? Is it gone? I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I have definitely seen that my abilities have heightened over the past couple of years. So there's something going on. And I think that correlates to all of the extra sightings that people are seeing with the UFOs, with the ETs, I grew up seeing ghosts, but Bigfoots, Dogman, any kind of cryptid.
Yeah, so our eyes, we don't see all or perceive all of this dimension. So we can't always rely on our eyes to see all of this dimension. You know what I mean? So we have to use our deeper insights. Yeah, our deeper insight to see these levels of dimensions. And like I said, once you do that and you start to become more self-aware and reflective, you start to understand the universe and see through these dimensions and actually interact in them. So meditations and deep thought and connection. It's a real thing. And the more you connect with it, the more insight and the more stronger it gets. And that's what's kind of more neater thing about that, right? And like I said, it's all about living in balance. It all comes at the right time, and just the more practice and the more patience you have with yourself, and sometimes, like, at first it doesn't always come like to you right away. Like sometimes you'll have just thoughts, like it'll be like all of a sudden it'll be like a dream, and you're like, oh, why am I thinking that? All of a sudden you'll just come out of it, but that's just the building of it. You start to see some of these scenes and these things in your mind, and it's your mind helping you play out some of these deeper inner dialogues that you've been always mentally replaying over in your mind throughout the life, right? So deeper insight in these thoughts collectively and living more in balance, and that should really bring out the harmonization within your realities. But yeah, is there anything else you wanted me to go on?
Yeah, no, that I was just thinking when I was learning remote viewing, and I've been doing this for a long time. Part of learning remote viewing, we were taught to play with our dreams a little bit, and to learn to control our dreams, because they say that we don't just sleep because we're tired. We sleep because we have to dream, and it's important for us to get to let our subconscious do whatever it needs to do at night, to make sense of our reality, because this reality is messed up. Okay, it's messed up in a lot of ways, but I think it's perfect at the same time. There's a duality to it. But yeah, it's important for us to dream, and I just sometimes I remember my dreams, sometimes I don't. I more or less don't remember my dreams these days, but sometimes when I do, it's pretty profound, the things that come through in our dreams, and I think that's my reality plays out in my dreams sometimes. So before it happens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
you'll see places, and then you'll be like, hey, I've seen this place before. I've been here. Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. Yeah, we're always going through this life, and unconsciously we're dealing with all these different parts of our reality that just subconsciously being picked up and connected with, and our body sometimes needs that like time to rejuvenate or recalibrate it and go back in the world again. It's a real thing. Like unconsciously, there's always radio waves, there's always Wi-Fi, all these things that are always playing, and constantly going through our world, and we're just going right through it, and like antennas, we're picking it up like signals, and unconsciously. And
that's right.
So
that's right.
Yeah.
My son, we were walking out of the grocery store one day, and my son, who's 8 years old, said he'd never heard of deja vu before in his entire all of his 8 years, and he turned around and looked at me and said, Mom, I've been here before. This has happened in my life before. He was like, I don't know what's going on, but I've been here. That woman was standing there. These people were over here. Everything's the same. And I realized my son has no idea that he just is having deja vu. So when we talk about realities, when we talk about dimensions overlapping and things like that, you know, it makes me wonder, what is deja vu, Travis? Like, is it jumping timelines, or it's like we've been in timelines? Is it us dreaming and we get to pick our timelines that we're going to go to, so we kind of remember something that we picked to go to? I know that sounds wild, but what do you think?
A lot of time our future selves and like it's already interacting. Like a lot of times people will say your spirit went to go what was there, was visiting the place before you actually, you know what I mean? And sometimes they say you're meant to be there. You know, your spirit called you there, showed you there, or showed you this place because you're meant to be there. You know what I mean? And it's just about connection and divine timing. That's like what I like to feel it as. And usually it's a time when you're actually like evolving. You know what I mean? Like you're going through a change, or there's a moment to like a very specific time that's something good, or it's gonna like it's changing for the better. You know what I mean? Like it's usually a good sign for me anyway. When I hear the word deja vu, or I have it, or I'm like, oh, there it is again. You know, but yeah. So it's definitely, you know, it's definitely there with that.
Wow. Yeah. If, you know what? Okay. There have been times I just noticed. Okay. I had an incident last night. I'm not going to get into details. I had an incident last night where something like things kind of went south on me and like really quickly. It all came back. It was not during the show, everybody. Okay. I had a really good show last night here at Space Out Radio, but there's been times where you can feel an energy shift, Travis. And it's like, I felt like my heart had dropped. I felt like I had been taken down a notch. I felt it was something so minute, but I felt it, and it was almost like I felt like I went down a timeline. Is that possible? Do you think? Like I just went down to somewhere I didn't need to be, and is that why we need to raise our vibration to be at the highest timeline?
Uh, it usually like all right. So in the native belief, native world, things will go around again, come back around again as a circle, and you'll have an opportunity to regain that what was lost. You know what I mean? And you know, there's always these opportunities that circle around again, or you know, there's always a new journey like that, right? And sometimes these things these downfalls will happen so we can learn and teach, and then we really find out the truth in ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And so,
absolutely.
you know, and that's really you know, and sometimes like a lot of people, like the people that don't learn that from their, you know, their past you know, mistakes, or their cycle, I should say, that they're locked into, they continuously go into it, and you'll see, you know, these people are always constantly in the same, you know, locked in the same cycle of whatever they're going through. And it's a matter of, yeah. For, you know, like I said, for the people though, like I said, like deja vus and stuff like that, like I said, it usually is like a time of change, and it's usually means a good thing because your spirit has been there, and it's like a connection of alignment. Like you were there at the right timing, you know, in divine timing in the universe, and you know, I mean, this was an insight, you know, from the universe, I should say, the being of the universe, a great light here.
I think the important thing is that you notice it. Okay, just the fact that you notice that you've been there before, or there's a shift in the energy. I think that is just so important to the whole experience. That's when you know you're consciously aware. Okay. Which is great. And speaking of being consciously aware in kids, like my son experiencing that, you work a lot with the youth in your community. What kind of things are you teaching the youth, and what's going on in your world right now, Travis?
Oh, well, more or less like I help organize programs that are bringing in, you know, these cultural teachings in for the youth as well. Like it's not all just me. There's like tons of different instructors and other people that are brought in, and you know, they do daily workshops and, you know, things like that throughout our nation. And sometimes I'll go in and I'll do meditation. I'll play the flute music for elders. Other times I'll go out and, like I said, I did the fishing trips and stuff like that, for, you know, more like just kind of cultural hunting, get fishing kind of stuff. If there's people that are like, you know, interested in like the, you know, UFO stuff and all that kind of world, I am more than willing to talk with them and, you know, and have that conversation and, you know, and discuss it. I've had countless, like, you know, conversations with it about it now since I've been doing these shows, which is nice though, because like a lot of people are really interested and curious about it. So I'm happy to provide that or be there for that. With what I've learned throughout my time as living here, walking on this dimensional plane. Yeah, when I was a kid, man. I was a little boy, and I was talking about the star people, the Star Nation, and aliens, and I was like, they're my friends. They're gonna come see me. They're gonna come be our friends, and a lot of my aunties and uncles were practicing the shamans and medicine people, and like they said, they were so supportive of it. They were able to show me a lot of things and teach me a lot, tell me a lot of these stories, and they were really there to help. I should say, help me connect with that and through our culture and spirituality, and it's been, like I said, it's been a experience thus far, and I just can't, I continuously see and experience these beings, when they're flying by in crafts throughout the years and in the skies, and through the stories and people saying they're seeing them and connecting with them, and them connecting with us in our cultural ceremonies, and it's like I said, and sometimes I'll get visuals when I'm doing meditations, and like you said, astral travels and projections, and I will see some of these real wild beings out there. Some of them are very intense, and not all of them are, and some of them they almost look just like animals here on Earth, and it's kind of wild. The most recent one I seen was a bioluminescent fish guy warrior, and he was able to shoot bioluminescent blasts out of the front of him, and it was pretty intense. But like I said, these are visuals that I feel are being just they're almost little shared insights, and I take pleasure in that. That's it's really cool. It's very, very interesting. Some of the things that are places and technologies, and these kind of different beings, and how they almost telepathically connect with people, one another, and things, and how their lives were on these different worlds and stuff, and but yeah, no, it's been like I said, it's been a journey thus far, and all the teachings I was able to learn over the time. I'm happy to be here and talk about this, and be here, and all the fans watching.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here too, Travis. I have a question for you. Okay, so when anyone has, let's just say someone has a Sasquatch or Bigfoot sighting in your area, are you the go-to person that they tell?
Well, it's kind of funny because it does come around to me. At the end of the day, it does come around. But at first I'll get word about it, oh, they're hearing stuff in the woods, and then I kind of start digging around a little bit, and then then stuff we're hearing stuff, and really getting all the coyotes scared, and the whole 9 yards, and trees are out there snapping, and people are out, things they're hearing beast out there or something, right? And I'm okay, but it does swing around to me. It does get around to me from others, they do try to tell me, and and then they're all hey, I heard you seen a UFO, and and all this stuff, so people do come to me about stuff like that, and and they'll want to talk to me and tell me these these interesting stuff that they've seen, everything from little people taking stuff from their properties to to them, like I said, the running on rooftops, and seeing ships across in over the tree lines and everything. And, oh, it's spectacular though. I love it. I live for this kind of thing. So to me, it's very much a part of our reality. And the Bigfoot sightings though, they're very much real. They're very highly dimensional. That's why I don't think anybody will ever really catch them. How you can keep a dimensional creature in captivity. But like I said, the orbs people, like I said, the elders see them when they have certain full moons. They'll see them flying around in the mountains, and they'll turn into orbs and go around and recharge in the energy. They've been able to open portals, jump through natural forest portals, because there's a lot of forest portals out there that just exist from the energy of just the earth, and it's alive, and these energy points do exist, just like how we have energy points, and this it's all connection, right? And but a lot of times when the Bigfoots die, though, when they die, a lot of times they'll bury their remains underneath trees. That's where they bury their bones. They'll take them and they'll bury them underneath trees, so they become like part of nature again, and that's kind of the circle of life kind of deal.
Wow.
So that's what they believe in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I figured you might be a go-to person when it comes to stuff like that. I actually, when I visited my friends in Cherokee, North Carolina, one of the men took us all around the area to show us where all the latest Bigfoot reports have been. And my goodness, I could not believe how many reports there were. That was when I first got into Bigfooting, actually. So it's been a while since I went up there. But yeah, I feel like it's all just connected to the UFOs that are flying around, and that's just been my experience. That all the beings, all us, everything, and it's becoming so much more apparent as each day goes by that we're just all connected to just energetically, So, yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm excited to talk to you tonight. And,
yeah, there's been like a lot of stories about it. Like even, like I said, a lot of these portal stories. Like there was even a story back in the time there where a lot of like different dimensionals were coming out of these portals, and there's a great hunter, Manitou, who actually went and fought a lot of these beasts and chased them back into the dimension to close it, and the portal closed when he entered after fighting a lot of these beasts back into there. But
I'm not going to say if that has or hasn't happened. For disclosure purposes, I'll say that may or may not have happened to my team at some point, where a portal has opened and we've had to get them to go back in.
Yeah.
Let's just say. I mean, it's and that sounds so wild to the normal everyday person. But Travis, I feel like I could talk to you about it. So
yeah,
and I guess the whole world is watching us right now. But that does happen. That's actually a real life circumstance.
Yeah,
for us researchers.
Just like human spirit, sometimes these unnatural, I should say, malice, kind of like I said, more angry or nefarious kind of beast-like creatures. Spirits of these beasts actually. They'll lock on to certain areas, and that's where you'll get like things like skinwalker or these different kind of like ethereal beasts that seem to possess a home, or they'll possess an area, or they'll possess people. And like a lot of times when you take you defeat these things out of the houses, or out of the area or lands, you do have to send them back into these portals, dimensions, and oftentimes close them and build shields, like barriers, to keep them out too. And that's another part about all that. And a lot of these things were done in our areas, and things were left, and everything from like rock kind of protections to buffalo skulls, and these things were meant for that, right? And like it's not just us who protect these things, but also spirit world too protects those, right? And it's like kind of dangerous for even us to go back to some of these areas, like or even be around them. You know what I mean? Like it's a very nothing to joke around with. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's been a lot of like cases where people have like have taken relics and things and like that, and for example, here's a really good story. My grandfather, Chief Headman Moostoos, when he passed away from healing a lot of people and during the Spanish flu and whatnot, he passed away, and he was buried out in East Prairie, and they wanted to move his body to out here in our area, in our reserve, and they ended up taking that pipe. Like, he was buried with his sacred pipe, and those people wanted to take a pipe from him. Those people took that pipe, and they went and held a sweat lodge ceremony, and that guy died in that pipe. Well, from that pipe in that ceremony, he dropped dead. And I don't ever know what they did with that pipe. I don't know if they went and destroyed it or whatnot, but it was never ever given back to the family. And but like I said, these things, like people try to go take those things, and it's not meant for them. And oftentimes these things can become, very, very lethal and deadly. And that's just like, should go without say, right? And
it's just like the sacred rock that Stephen was telling us about last night. Stephen's our guest last night, he was talking about the stones that had alien technology in them. Someone had stolen some in, I think it was 1959, and the person that had taken one of the stones, I think they traded them off to somebody, and they died almost immediately after taking that stone, because their bodies did not connect with that resonant frequency apparently, and the stone said it killed that person basically.
Oh yeah.
And that's where the whole, people say, oh, magic's playing in and all that. It is kind of magic in a way, I assume. Right?
Well, it's I feel like it's just it's the natural world for me. Like
Natural
it's
world,
not it's
yeah.
to me it's not any, like it's not in its own, it should be what we are, you know what I mean? Like if we're the ones who kind of fade away and and left that all behind, and now we're all thinking we're all different because we're starting to see these things and interact with these things again. But realistically, it's a matter of we'd be so much more if we did,
it goes so far back. Exactly. It's almost like magic is a bad word to a lot of people, like, oh, it's magic, it's blasphemy or whatever. It's just natural. And we have been so separated from what is naturally our birthright in a lot of ways, and reconnecting to our true nature as humans and understanding our enhanced human capabilities. And it's something that we're taught that it's bad. I see those comments when I go on other people's shows saying I'm blasphemous for, remote viewing and things like that. It's just a part of being a human. Right, Travis? It's part of being human, and I am reconnecting with who I am. So be it. Okay. But and I'd like to open people up to that. Just reconnecting with who we are, and being the best version of ourselves, because we are very powerful as humans, and I think there's a vested interest in keeping us not powerful.
Everything's connecting. All the trees,
Yes.
everything has frequency. You find that even in science. Trees that give off frequency, even rocks. The crystals give off power signals. You know what I mean? And and all these different. They're all. It's all alive. We're all connecting with this, and it's all frequency. And like I said, it's a very natural part of us in this world. And like I said, we're picking up. It's going to start, like when we start working on this. Eventually, everybody's, like you said, going to be psychic, and we'll be able to telepathically or know when we're thinking of one another, and people are able to, just like, oh, I know this person's going to be calling me or connect, talking to me, or like we're going to be, oh, I know I'm going to see them today.
Yes.
There's going to be these things that are going to be starting to take place. Maybe it's already happening for some. Like I said, this frequency's picking up. Some, like, funny thought I like to laugh at is, like, sometimes in these songs, like, all of a sudden you just think of this random song you heard from way back then. I like to think that's just some radio wave that just popped in your head and you didn't, it's just like you're just thinking of this song. But like I said, this, and like, we're antennas are picking up these frequencies, our bodies unconsciously, subconsciously picking up all this. So like it's really it's real. It's a real thing.
It is very real. I mean, we are antennas if you think about it. We're constantly bringing in information, and if we open ourselves up to it. So I know I am. It depends on what kind of frequency you're on, I guess. But yes, if you're in receiving mode, or yeah, that's a whole other topic. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So let's get on the topic of cryptids tonight. How about that? Let's talk about perhaps some of the local cryptids where you live, other than Bigfoot. Do you have anything else going on up in Canada up there? I'm down here in the south in Georgia, and we have a few cryptids, some local legends and lore. Let's talk about some of the things that you've got going on.
Yeah, we have. There's tons. Like from everything, like even like other than just this little people, we actually do have like different kind of like tree folk and tree peekers and different kind of like beings, like even like some of the medicines and like different plants will like eventually like they'll actually like connect with people and talk, and there's all these different kind of like I said, it just be almost the whole world. If you connect and you're on that higher level, it's like the whole world's alive. And like I said, there's there was like this, I was going to talk about, but there's a whole level to that. And people are, it's just like a blind sight that everybody's living in. Like our eyes are constantly moving and shifting, and we're just trying to piece together this reality as continuity, and it's like, but there's just so much more that we're missing and we're not seeing. And but like I said, and we do see that when we connect, and it's that feeling that we get when you feel like somebody's staring at you from across the room, and you look, somebody looks away, and
Oh, I
and you
feel
catch.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's that sight, and to work on that and figure out all that. But yeah, in our
I
area,
think that's a blessing and a curse, Travis, is knowing when people are talking about you
yeah,
or
yeah,
looking. I mean, I quit caring about what people think to the point to where like I'm totally not self aware anymore, like I used to be at all. I've like gone I've gone off the edge. Okay, like
yeah,
so bad, but yeah, it's almost I say it's a blessing and a curse.
yeah.
Being that aware. But it's a good thing. It's a very good thing.
Yeah, and sometimes like they'll know when you all of a sudden you picked up on them and you turn to look and try to see them in the woods, and they'll
Yes.
go into that sight that like they could perceive how heightened your being is to be able to know just where to get out of that sight that mention, where you're able to perceive them. And they're almost like they're very tricky out there in the woods. And you know what I mean? It's like I said, it's a different like it's a different connection. You know what I mean? Very different perception out there when you're out there looking for these cryptids and whatnot.
It is. Okay, I am so behind on the chat tonight. I'm not sure. YJ Overlander said, "Can you expound on that part about them possessing people?" I'm not even
Yeah.
sure what we were talking about.
So
Okay, do you remember?
yeah,
'Cause
yeah, I
I'm
do
so
remember.
behind. Okay.
All right, so sometimes, all right, so when people are living heightened and they're connecting with the universe in a good way, usually these beings of lower frequencies, they can't even interact with you. They don't want to. They can't stand that energy, that way you're going. People that are just that are like kind of going down, or like lower frequency, lower vibes, and sometimes these beings like to try to latch on, and they'll even they'll feed off that energy. Sometimes people will wake up and they'll be like, "I seen reptilians trying to siphon my energy at night," and I'm like, "Okay, well, you tell them to leave you and never come back, and start to welcome that light into your life." Like, and these light centers are within us, and we call them these seven lights, the chakra lights, right, up and down our being, right. And these these points, like, we got to welcome the lights in, and like I said, this meditation and self connection will usually keep them away, and like when you become more aware, and you start to create more of a light shield for yourself, in a sense, because you're becoming more aware, and you're not allowing these kind of these entities to play on your lower frequencies. And when they do that, sometimes it'll be just like you don't even know, like life is going good, but all of a sudden you're just you'll just feel like down about something, and you're like, why am I even thinking that? You come to think about it later, like, I don't even know why I was feeling like that. Life is all right, I'm good. Like, and this is like, but that the being that was doing that was getting its fill of energy, and then it left. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. I mean, yes, and that I've experienced that so much, and I almost feel like sometimes there's like a spirit that will jump from person to person to try to get at me sometimes, and things like that. Which,
yeah,
when you raise your vibrational frequency so high, and you heal and you do the work, and you're feeling good about yourself, and you stop worrying about what people think about you, a lot of things that are negative can't touch you anymore. And here's the thing, there's going to be people sent into your life that will try to get, if whatever it is, the negative entities can't get at you, they'll get at the people around you to come in and hurt you. Okay, so you have to be aware of that. I'm just saying, it's happened to me before.
And then you gotta really once you start to pay attention, you'll see it. All of a sudden you'll be like, "Oh, why did I even think that?" There's no need to think that. Like, and here it's just like a real, it's like it could be just like a real wild thought. You're like just totally something like something that would never happen, and you're like, what was the use of that, right? Like, there was no use of that negative thought or whatever, right? But but that's part of that too, like that they pop in these these mental movie replays that are just negative, and it's a matter of somebody not just seeing that and going, whoa, like, what, like, I'm not here to worry about that has nothing to do with me. But I've been like I brought up different reptilians, and not all of them are there to siphon energy and stuff like that. Like, there's been talks like that back in the day, like can impact Napuyo, which is the snake mans, and what was it, Kinoto Skatin, Asemina lizard people. Well, it would be like it would be the translation water dog people, but but these things are these beings are real, and they were very, very seclusion, and they didn't really allow people down into their subterranean levels in the inner earth. They didn't allow people in their civilizations. It was like kind of like they were a very, very they come out and speak to people like from the mountains and come around, but like they weren't really like they didn't really allow anyone to go deep down into their massive cities, I guess. Like they would talk about having massive cities and buildings
underground.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and they had like the caverns and all these like different like waters and the oceans in the water that they had down there, and trees, and yeah, it was like they had their own like lifestyle in the ground, and
And that
yeah,
happens to this day that we hear about.
yeah,
As a matter of fact, last night on the show, the very last thing that Duke said, Duke from World Bigfoot Radio, and Robin McCrae Haynes came on with me the last hour last night. And Duke said, he said, Happy St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick was known to drive the snakes out of Ireland. They weren't actually snakes. They don't have that many snakes. It was reptilians. And he left us with that little note right there. And I was thinking, man, that was so profound. That's wild. The more that I'm getting into all of the cryptids all over the world, reptilians come up more than just about anything at this point. And every time I do a show and I mention reptilians, I do get the Wikipedia fact check down below my video. I've gotten it on at least 3 of my videos now. Where I mention reptilians. It's going to get it on this one on Spaced Out Radio, most likely.
nice.
Yes, because I said reptilian. It's reptilian humanoids. Okay.
Yeah.
Why on earth do you think YouTube or the powers that be or whoever it is, why are they so concerned about us knowing that reptilians are not real? They're a myth. According to them.
Well, there's so much archaeological evidence in terms of these depictions in from art to carvings, even the buildings, how they're made. Even the buildings represent them. There's a lot of these, even the constellations are built to. Some of these temples are built to the snake bearer constellation. Which is where a lot of these outsider visitor reptilians are from, the Oculus star systems, and these. Like I said, these beings come from different areas. Sometimes, like I said, they're from here too. Some of these are naturally were inhabitants of this earth too, alongside us, and others are from dimensional lower frequencies and other realities that are here to try to manifest themselves in and try to win over the lower frequency of this timeline. But we can't let that earth go like that. We got to vibrate with that earth and reclaim it for ourselves as humans, because this is our plan to connect with and become one with in this universe, and that's really what it's about. And these but there are some, like I said, there are some reptilian races that were like on our side that were good. Like there's a lot of shamans who spoke of these snake medicines and these snake people, and a lot of these like I said, the lizard people, and they're different colors, and than what we hear about the evil ones and how they were coming out of the ground with UFOs and taking Native women and having big fights on the ground, and like it's it gets pretty deep in there, but like they've been around for millions of years, thousands of years alongside with us, and especially out here and in this part of the continent, like of the world, like I should say, like right from north to down to south, you find all these incredible places with markings to them, right down to the snake mounds, to the down to Kulula Khan's temples, right all across there, and then you go up to the British Columbian ice shelf that's just located in Jasper, and you find all these depictions that are painted and carved in the rocks up there. In the highest parts of the mountain, you'll see ships that look like tops, and you see all these like little cigar shapes, and you see these little beings and snake people, and it's beautiful. And these things,
history is not what we're taught. Right? I mean, taught in the school books. Now, oral tradition could be different, but what the typical, especially here in America, We have our textbooks. We're taught, my son goes to school. I have to hold my breath every day before he comes home. I don't know what he's going to go tell his classmates and his teacher about the real history, that his mom's been teaching him, but we're taught to, you obey, you read these textbooks, you believe what we tell you. We start looking around at logos, for instance. Okay. I did it. Like I said, I've done some shows on the reptilians and, subterranean reptilians, let's just say. And I'm researching it, and I'm seeing that a lot of deities, ancient deities, were reptiles, lizard people. Okay. And I'm riding by Starbucks, for instance, and I'm seeing the logo. Everybody thinks that's a mermaid. Well, actually, no, that's a deity that was a reptilian woman. It was like a half reptile snake woman, woman from the waist up, snake from the waist down. But it looks like a mermaid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that, it's got much more of a meaning to it, and it's symbolic. And so when I'm getting all of these Wikipedia, fact checks on all my videos about it, and then I'm seeing like one of the biggest coffee companies has a reptilian as its logo, like there's something to this. There's got to be, Travis, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, even down like to the east there with the belief in the dragons and the dragon men. Buddha always thought of the dragon men as being healers. And you go down to the Uruk, I think it's Uruk, Afghanistan, first Afghanistan civilization, where they pulled out those 2,000-year-old little clay depictions of these snake people, and they're wearing little hats and stuff. And I always like that. But those were actually depicted in like as blue robed wearing reptilians, and they were healers. And so like a lot of reptilians too are considered healers around the world, and that's fascinating to me.
Me too. Well, okay, so I know symbolically that a snake is symbolic of healing and shedding its skin. Okay, so snakes are good. I had a pet snake, Travis. Okay, that's something that I don't talk about publicly very often. I had a pet snake, and it stems from breaking up with a boyfriend in college, and I'm taking the snake, Big mistake. Okay, big mistake. Snakes grow out of control. They get really big, and then you don't know what to do with them. Okay, it's a terrible pet in my opinion. That's my opinion. Okay, but yeah, I had a snake for many years, and they're symbolic of shedding their skin and in healing. Okay, so it can be a good thing. It can be seen as a good thing, or it can be seen as, we're gonna eat you and eat the kids, and we live underground, and that's where all these missing people are going to feed us. So I mean, it could be interpreted as just about anything, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of theories out there, and like I said, I do have I feel like they are among us still, and I'm on that, so that's about as far as I'll go there with that. Yeah, like I said, green and brown in our culture have been known to be more of the peaceful ones, that have been willing to come out of their civilization and partake in some of the things going on above surface, and show us different little things that and connections with the world around. And we always that was a very important part of us too, because it was showing us to that even like the beings, like all across, like from the ground to the sky to the waters, and trees, it was all connected, right? So it was always that balance, right, with all the elements and all the everything, all the levels of our reality.
All the levels of our reality. We're not honestly, okay, this is a good point. We're not all in the same reality. Am I right, or am I right?
Some people like to close things out, so yeah, you're right. Yeah, we're not all in the same realities. A lot of people like to close out a lot of these natural connections, and that's I've always find that a little sad, but it's people when they start to open up and connect, and they go, wow, this was he was right, there is something to this, and that's just it's on people's own I should say journey, because we're all born on the medicine wheel in different parts of the journey, and we all begin and go around and through the stages of life, and through different awakenings, and our ceremonies, and life carries on, right? And
Yes, I'm proud to not be in the same reality as some people. It's also, but that's my friend Tanya and I. Tanya is also a remote viewer, and she and I have this thing where we say that's not my reality. If something doesn't resonate with me, if something doesn't resonate with her, we say that's not my reality. And just leave it at that, and just don't argue with people. Just say that's not my reality.
right.
I think that's a good comeback, honestly.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's up to
Depends.
people. Yeah, it's up to people to make that connection, and that's just it's people, and I'm proud of when people do, and that's just about as far as I'll go into that. Yeah, but these ultra terrestrial beings, they, like I said, they know when you're connecting. They feel that frequency, because they're connected to it beyond material, time, space, matter, all that, right? Like they're connected to this universe, and when we connect to that, we're opening ourselves to that, and allowing that energy and like I said, to flow with the universe, and to raise our vibration in our being, and our sense of reality, and like I said, to see and become more self-aware. And like I said, these cryptids, these ultra terrestrials, and all these things become more into the realities, and when people start to connect with that, in that sense.
Yeah. Okay. How do you think okay, I'm trying to think of how to word this. Do you think it's dangerous to try to connect with some of these ETs that are out there? And recently, by recently, I mean like in the past couple of years, I was contacted by a family, let's just say a representative of a family who was a friend of mine here in Georgia, who had been calling in UFOs, Travis. And I know we're going to take a break in about 2 minutes, so maybe we'll save this for the other side of the next hour. But I'll go ahead and tell you what the story is. I was contacted by a friend who was very upset, who had a family friend who the woman had been calling in UFOs and thought it was fun. And her friends would come over, and she'd call in the UFOs. They would show up over her house, and it was all fun and games until her children started being affected by it. They started not waking up for school in the mornings. Their grades dropped. They were tired all the time. And then they started noticing ETs looking in their windows at night. I was sent a series of pictures of ETs looking in their windows, different ETs. With different faces, different looks. But they were absolutely ETs, grays, some sort of tall aliens. And they were coming to me asking me to help get rid of them. Now, we'll talk about this on the other side of the hour, okay? We're going to take about a 5-minute break, and I'm sure you have a lot to say about that, because, I don't think it's all fun and games, and I don't think it's something to mess with. It's not something to play with, and I would love to hear your opinion on all that, and I bet you got one. Am I right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah? Okay. Well, listen, we're going to take about a 5-minute break. And so I hope everybody will stick with us. Thank you so much for everybody who's given us super chats and super stickers tonight. You guys are the best. I love all you guys. And it means the world to Spaced Out Radio. Thank you to everybody who's doing that. Please come back. We've got a lot to talk about on the other side of this hour. Travis, thank you for being here. We have Travis Willier Moostoos here with us tonight at Spaced Out Radio. You guys hold tight. We're going to take about a 5-minute break. We will be right back. Oh my goodness. Hey, everybody. Okay. I was just kind of jamming out in my head there to all that I feel like I was back in the late 90s doing a rave or something. That was awesome. Okay. Shout out to After Hours. Thanks for letting us use your amazing techno music there. That was amazing. Okay. Yeah, so I want to thank Dirty Filth for his artwork tonight. I did not realize he was leaving during that break. So thank you so much for doing artwork for us, Filth. You are the best resident audience, or not audience, artist that we can have. And I know the audience loves it. And I love it. And I appreciate you very much. It was amazing. You're very intuitive, by the way. I love that. Very much. So yeah, so we're back, and I'm going to bring Travis back up in just a second as soon as I see him coming back up. Yeah, we're going to talk about these ETs that I was contacted about, that were pretty much stalking a family after they had been calling UFOs in. Okay. And so I think that there's dangers to all this kind of stuff. So I think that it's important for us to be aware of what we're doing, and not just doing it for fun. Okay. Calling in spaceships, unless you know what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. It's important for us to be aware of the dangers behind some of these cryptids and the ETs. Okay. Well, I see Travis is back. So I'm going to pull him up. And Kurt M., thank you so much. That's sweet of you. Yes, I am having the time of my life. I'm not going to lie. I have a lot of fun filling in for Dave. And anytime Dave needs me, I'm always available. Okay, so thanks again to Filth for being here tonight and being our resident artist. All right, I'm going to bring Travis back up. And we're here to finish this conversation about calling in some ETs when you shouldn't probably be calling in UFOs. Thank you for being here, Travis. This has been awesome so far. We have another hour to go, and I would love to hear your opinion on this family calling in ETs when they might not should have been doing that. What do you think?
There are many alliances and many different factions and many different races of beings out in this universe, and it's so vast. Like there's so much. There's so many beings that I'm not shocked anymore, but I'm like, it's always, it's something else when you get a visual of a new, kind of energy that's appearing or seen. Most of the time though, like you said, it can be dangerous when people call these ships in. Throughout the years, encounters, people have been getting those blast marks, so burns and all sorts of radiation poisonings and, different kind of, it kind of scrambles them a little bit sometimes. But like I said, when people are like, when you do see them and you do have that encounter of seeing them, I have a feeling like it's, you're seeing them in the frequency that you're meant to at a distance that's safe. Because, for you to understand and realize and that they're there and you're part of this universe. And, I think it's that awakening thing. Right. But,
Yes.
But yeah, like you said, it could be dangerous, and people like, it's just like same thing like with connecting with the frequencies and all that, like and people connecting with energy and going for more of a positive vibe is you're gonna attract that. And usually those beings they're not there just trying to like come to speak to you right away. Like these things, like they'll like, it's more like you'll be presented with these images, or it's more like or it's like in a ceremony, or it's like kind of like in like a divine timing moment, you know what I mean? And it's like it's kind of meant for you, and it's usually a pleasant thing. But there's other times when people are like saying like they've had totally rough encounters and rough things, like they were taken on gray ships, and they experienced some pretty crazy stuff, and they weren't sure they're going to be brought back home, and then they're brought back home, and like I said, there's all these different frequencies, different beings, and it's a matter of what we're connecting with, right? And sometimes these beings, they do like some people are saying that they get like visited at night, and it's usually like something like trying to come and siphon their energy, or something that it comes at them at night, and they don't know how to react to it. And there's little things people can do, like I said, clearing of your energy, your home and your energy, like the energy in your home, I mean, and putting up these like positive frequencies in your house, and not only that, but like especially with the grays too, something about magnets always scramble their frequencies. So, what I mean, having a little
Magnets?
bit of those around.
What?
Yeah.
Nobody told me that. I need to get magnets. That's what I'm missing. Listen, Travis, I've had two nights. It's been in the past. I'm going to say 5 years because my son was a small child. I've woken up at night to have ETs in my bedroom twice, and I know that I go out and I do a lot of cryptid research, and I've brought orbs home with me and all that kind of stuff apparently, but it was when I started studying abductions, ET abductions, that I started having actual encounters in my home, where I would wake up. There was one night I woke up and there were grays in my bedroom, two of them. And then there was another night I woke up and there was a hooded ET by my bed.
Yeah.
And it was as tall as a ceiling. It looked,
Um,
I'm going to say
yeah.
it was similar to like a praying mantis type because the way it was moving and I could see its hands, but I couldn't see its face. I don't think it hurt me or anything. I don't know. I don't know. I have not done a regressive therapy on it. I don't care to at this point. But I didn't call that. I want to think I didn't call it in, but subconsciously I did. I think. A lot of times I'm a very excellent manifester. Okay.
Mhm.
And I've learned the art of manifesting at this point. I kind of understand how it works. Not to say that I'm like actively trying to manifest, but I've manifest my reality, and I'm very fully aware of that. And I think all of us do, and that's part of tapping into the power that we have as humans. Is learning how to manifest and learning how to use energy to our benefit in some way. And I think that when I started reading up on alien abductions, I called it in, right?
Yeah.
What do you think? I think I did, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, I totally am. Like with people calling them, like I'm 100% like I believe in that. Like it could, people do put out the frequency, it's gonna come around, right? Like, and
It was like is it Dolores Cannon or Abraham Hicks talks about the it's almost like a funnel or I forgot what it's called, but the vortex, right? It's like you become a vortex for the
right,
things that you think,
yeah,
and you're manifesting it and you bring it into your life. Well, I happen to bring ETs into my life. Okay, they got caught in my vortex apparently.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it's like it's a
Is
part of
that
our
weird?
reality, and yeah, no, it's not weird at all.
It's
I'm
weird. It's
totally.
weird to most people, Travis. Not to us, but to most people. I think yes, my weirdo warrior over here. We're both weirdo warriors, like my
Like,
friend Nighthawk. Yes.
I was brought up. Like, I was brought up and taught that we were brought here by the Star Nations, and
Okay.
put here on this earth, and many years ago, and they helped. Like I said, they helped with this planet's like the elements and like the beings of this planet, the spirits of these beings. They help give a portion of themselves, and we're all like there's a big story there to it, and it was like we're very much a part of this reality and this earth, and it's all out there in the nature. You see it, like I said, the being of the Star Nation, connection. We're all frequency, and where's this frequency going? You know what I mean? Like it's connecting to the higher being, and we're just all the frequency that's playing this tune of the universe, and it depends on what what that is, like how we're like we're vibrating with that frequency and connecting with it, and like so to me it wasn't unnatural. These things are very very much a part of our reality and our universe, and there's so much more to discover and and be a part of out there.
Okay. I
Yeah.
have a question. Okay, so getting back to the family who had the ETs in their windows, and let me tell you, these pictures, like I've been asked not to share them. I will never give out names. I don't even know their names. I don't remember them, but I very well remembered the pictures. It was pretty terrifying. Seeing all these ET and terrifying. And when I had my ET experiences, it was not terrifying, Travis, at all. It was just like, oh, that's weird. There's aliens in my room. That's weird. Because I have had so many experiences with cryptids and ghosts and Bigfoots, whatever, my entire life. But I could feel the terror of this family. And it was really sad to feel that. I almost feel as though I got mad. I'm not gonna lie, I got mad at the mother for doing this. To feel like, it's funny to do this. Like, haha, look what I can do. Like, to me, it felt very disrespectful. And I know I probably shouldn't be talking about this publicly right now, but of course, this family, I don't even know their names or whatever, but I felt like it was kind of disrespectful to the ETs in a way, and it almost put her kids on. I'm not going to say a chopping block. I know that sounds horrible. That's like a horrible term for it, but it exposed them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's like you're connecting, and they think you're ready and on that level, and and some people, like, they might have that ability to go and connect, and it's a serious question. Like, are they going to go for the ride or take that opportunity? But like, it's like it like for the kids and stuff like that, for them being involved and whatnot, and what I'm not, I don't know enough of the story to really to put it like a full
I
grasp
can't
on
put
it.
it all out
Like
there.
like
I've already
like I
said
said,
too much.
like I
Right.
said, we don't know if like it was not, if they're bad or if they were good. Maybe they were seeing the kids and the people. Maybe they had maybe these beings had a different connection to them.
That's right.
Those little beings that were incarnated into as humans were once gray aliens. And they have still that
Perhaps they're
connection.
protecting
You know,
the kids
those
from the.
kids,
I mean, who
because they were
knows?
once grays. They were once grays, like,
Yeah.
or they were once that alien race, whatever. Maybe it's not grays. Like, we're putting a race there. It could be, like I said, it could be these other beings out there, the little blue ones, and or they. There's like a whole bunch of them, man.
I mean, you have to
It's just
wonder, like,
wild.
what. Well, okay, so it always boils down to getting to the root of, like, why. Like, why did the mother feel like it was important to call aliens in and ETs and UFOs? Like, was it just to prove that she could? Does she have a connection? I'm gonna just say this. There's maybe she may have some sort of deep rooted connection to whatever she was calling in, that she doesn't realize it. That's just me. That's what I think. But who knows? I just know the kids were affected, and anytime the children are affected, that's not good. Just like in a haunting, like if a house is
Right.
haunted,
Yeah.
if there's something that feels demonic or dark, you want to go help that family. But when it comes down to ETs, there's not a whole lot you can do to help a family who has an ET problem. Am I right?
There could be
I
things that are done.
I couldn't help.
There could be things that are done. Um,
Okay.
but yeah. So it's
I
like,
didn't know what to do, Travis. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, you know what? You got ETs that I can't help you. So basically, what I said, because there's a difference. Like, I don't know. Is there a difference between, like, like, you can call in a priest for a demonic haunting or demonic possession? What about? I mean, some people say that aliens are demons. What do you think about that?
well, like, if they're really on a darker energy and different, a different, like I say, a lower frequency reality, and they're trying to find their way in here, and they're trying to do negative things to become more of manifest into this reality, then yeah, I would say they're pretty dark. That would be considered a bad entity or a bad being. But there are entities who are coming to perhaps, like I said, heal or enlighten, or they're there to help raise that vibration. Like, there's a lot of people who said that they've connected with these beings, and they're light, and they were like, bringing them through starship crystal ships, and they're like, helping them, like, raise this vibration, and become more of a healer, and all these, like, becoming more connected. And I honestly, like, I feel like that's a very, like I said, divine connection to these beings, and some people call those angels. And it's wild. I just had deja vu.
Did you? You just had deja vu?
Yes, I did. I just was wild right now.
Well, I'm
But anyway.
glad you chose this timeline, Travis. Thank you. I feel so privileged. I
Whoa.
don't
Wow.
understand it, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm not sure what's going on. And Mystics Walk is saying, are you saying we should have magnets in our bedrooms?
Uh, Well, yeah, sometimes they will, like I said, it will jam, like, where you're feeling like these beings are somehow entering into your room, or yeah, I would say place a few magnets around, and that will help keep, like, them away at night. Some people use crystals too. Like, I've seen that too. People having crystal barriers and crystal protections. I'll show you another one here. Natural one.
I have crystals. I have crystals all over my house. I'm the crystal queen.
This is a little shield. Like, this is a little.
Is that a shell?
Yeah, it's a little No, it's a fungus.
Oh,
this is a fungus from the forest,
fungi.
And this is like fungi. This would be considered a shield, spiritual world.
I love that.
Yeah, wow. It's shaped like a little shield, and it sits there on my desk like that. I mean, on my shelf like that. But yeah, these things are like little shields too, and those are natural shields, like from the okay. organic world.
Ooh,
and that, like I said, these things are all alive too, right?
That. Okay.
They're around. They're on the trees.
So magnets. Okay,
always leave tobacco though. I'll say that. Always leave tobacco as a exchange to that spirit for that
protection.
The gift. Yeah, the gift of that I should say the fungus or that. Yeah.
Okay, here's a question, Travis.
Yes.
When you're having an experience where you feel as though you might be being, let's just say, abducted. Okay, if you see an ET, like I had ETs in my bedroom at one point. Some people say if you start praying, they'll go away.
Oh, yeah.
What do you say about that?
Yeah, that works too. Beings of the light, you you let them know what side you're on, and like who has your back, because we have that connection in those light beings that are there watching us over us too all the time. And as soon as they'll leave, and tell them never to come back too. Like, that's another thing too. Don't just tell them, like, because they'll leave. You tell them to leave. But telling them to never come back is another, is a statement in itself too. So being clear is a big picture here, or part of the bigger picture, I mean. But yeah.
It is. Oh, this is funny. Susie B, she said, there's going to be a huge spike in magnet cells here. Yes. I'm going to like the biggest magnet I can find. I'm just going to put magnets all over my bedroom.
The gray aliens are mad at me. Yeah, the gray aliens are mad at me now. They're like, you messed it up for us.
I'm sorry, we're refusing to be part of your program.
There it is.
I really feel
I don't consent to it.
It was kind of a helpless situation when that family was contacting. It wasn't the family, it was a friend of the family who is one of my best friends, who's a remote viewer and one of my Bigfooting friends. I felt helpless in that situation, helping that family. And I just remembered that was my thought was like, well, why were you calling them in? Like, that was not smart, but being human is a learning experience, Travis. And so you live and you learn, and just try not to hurt anybody in the process. Like those, the kids were the ones being affected the most, not the parents.
Yeah. Usually beings of light, if you're in astral projection and are like, you're in your meditations and you see these beings are in front of you, you're getting visuals, use yourself to like spark a light, like use your being of light to like light up. Or something. Okay, there we go. I'm back. So use your, oh my God, there we go. Anyway, use your being of light. And usually those ones that you're seeing in front of you, they'll smile, or they'll react the same way. They'll light up too, and that's how you know you're on a frequency of light with the other beings of light out there. Those other dark entities are there. They want to mess with you. They'll show you negative stuff and try to take you down a different path. And I wouldn't pay any attention to that. I wouldn't allow it in. I never consent to any of that dark reptilian or any of that kind of frequency. So.
Yeah. We got to try to stay on the highest timeline we can. Think positively. Don't go messing with nothing that don't need messing with, okay? There was a funny YouTube video that it was about a guy who was training to be a ninja. Okay. And he was like, don't go ninja, nothing you don't, no, don't go, yeah, don't go ninja, nothing, don't need ninja. Okay. And it's like, if you don't need to be getting in that business, don't do it. Yeah. It's like using, I mean, in my opinion, I don't use Ouija boards or anything, nothing against it. If people want to do it, I just don't do it. You know, I don't want to bring it into my house. I don't want to call in aliens either. But I inadvertently did by reading up on alien abductions, apparently. And so
Yeah.
there's a fine line between like manifesting things by accident, you know, by your subconscious, and then calling them in, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you really got to, like I said, I wanted to be more connected with it. And like I said, the more and more I got connected with it, I've discovered more of my culture, my past, my origins, and within my own people, the Niawin, Niawak, and the Star Nation, Kakosaka Samana, you know, and the SDSE, you know, the people, the star beings, the Star Nations, and all that. And you know, it's like it's all connected, right? And like I said, and just trying to find that balance in life, and living with that balance, and being a part of that, right, in the circle of life. And like that, to me, like that discovering of that and being part of that was the more worth it. Like it wasn't just about seeing the aliens or being in the alien ships or anything like that. To me, the whole process of it all, discovering these little things, hearing these little tales, seeing these shows like Spacedoutradio, and you know, to me, those are like, it was just gifts from this universe that were just finding its way in my like into this reality that we are all in, and like that we're all trying to make our sense of in our own ways, and just connecting with that and becoming more and then the more connection, and it just more it felt more welcoming and more of a homing kind of sense. And I started to figure out more of these different alliances, and the Light World alliances, and the Palladian Andromedan alliances, and all the dark forces and their shenanigans, and you know what I mean. And the more you hear about it, like the more you understand, and you start to kind of gravitate and pick up a different, like a bigger picture of it all, and you know, like I said, and hearing all the past and connections too, and how they're still relevant to this day, and why they are being hidden, you know. And that's part of that, why they're trying to hide all that, right, too, is because it's you know, it's that hidden reality that they, you know, don't want anybody to know. So that's,
well, we're exposing it. Listen, I've had my own personal experiences. Now, have you ever had a personal face-to-face encounter with an ET being?
Yeah, there was like tons of instances, like where I felt them around, not only like, but in ceremonies and stuff like that, where they've actually flew around and actually sat down, and we were able to see this like pink or like aura, like in like around it, and it was like it was there, had purple eyes, and it was like, you know, like everything, and then it was back in the energy, and it was like going around us, and then it went back up through the ceiling of the sweat lodge. And like I said, these sometimes these beings like are there. They'll be there in spirits. They'll come down like that. They'll manifest. And in dreams, like that's been another big part about it all too, is like seeing these things in dreams, and then some of the like just like the worlds, and you know, just these wild sceneries, and like how it all just like I said, is very connected. And
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our Earth picks that up, that frequency. That's part of that too, right? So like you connect to the Earth, you start to connect with all that out there, and you know, like, you know, well, magnetic. How might work again? A hematite. Yeah. A lot of these, like, yeah, exactly. Magnetic. Like I said, the frequency of the magnets will mess with and distort their lower frequencies, because they are kind of.
I have hematite bracelets, man. I'm bringing those out. I'm gonna sleep in hematite tonight. Okay, I'm gonna make ankle bracelets and wrist bracelets. So messed up. Yeah. It's funny. Somebody in the chat,
I'm happy I got to share that. I totally forgot. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Go
somebody
ahead.
in the chat
Sorry.
had written, they're like, you're gonna wonder if we put all these magnets out, you're gonna wonder why your debit cards don't work in the morning. You know, it's like all the magnets. Like, look, it doesn't matter if your debit card works or whatever. You're not being abducted at night, okay? So you gotta priorities, okay?
Yeah.
Priorities.
Yeah. But yeah, like creating a nice atmosphere is really like the key to it. It's not just going to be the magnets. Like it's part of like creating your atmosphere and creating like a strong sense of your light and putting up those barriers. It's like you're like I said, when you become more aware of it, you'll start to sense that, and you'll know when. Also, so ringing bells doesn't, that the reptilian frequency doesn't like ringing bells. They don't like that. Okay. So if you want to get rid of reptilians, ringing bells, it's kind of messes with their frequency, distorts them a little bit. Because little bells and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, that clears the energy in the room,
like little people.
Right?
Yeah. That it clears the energy. The little people love these, the little bells. You'll hear a lot. Sometimes you hear them in the woods and stuff like that. You hear little bells running around in the fields and whatnot, and along the rivers. And like I said, these lighter beings, little beings like that, they love the bells. So it also welcomes like fairy energies and like these other earth elemental energies around you. Chimes too, little chimes. Yeah, chimes. Like those little.
I have chimes everywhere. Yes.
Did you see the ones that look like the UFOs? And they're like the little Buddha ones, and you bang them together. They look like little UFOs.
I have some right here, actually. I mean, I could get up and get them, but then you see what kind of pants I'm wearing, so I'm not getting up. Sorry. Look, when you do live shows, you can wear pajamas, and you gotta be dressed up from the waist up. Okay, so I'm not gonna. Y'all see what kind of pants I'm wearing. Okay, but I do have those right over there, and yes, there is something very healing about bells and that frequency, that vibration. So. Yes, and by the way, I know I've had somebody say that my mic was a little bit low. I just turned it up, so hopefully that helps a little bit. But yeah, and YJ Overlander, yeah, tuning forks. Okay, it's interesting that you bring up tuning forks because they will drive away negative energies, and absolutely. And that's another thing about being on a high vibrational frequency. You become the tuning fork. Okay, when you are on a high vibrational frequency, your energy, it doesn't matter where you go to the grocery store, the post office, to your school, wherever you're going, when you're in a good mood and you're projecting that good energy, it just changes the entire vibration of everybody around you. And I encourage everybody to do that. Find the beauty in the little things every day, and you become the tuning fork.
Oh yeah, and treasuring the moment, because it's all the process, right? The process is really what's that the path is that we take, and it's the journey, and enjoying every part of that journey. Because like usually when you follow that intention of your heart and your soul, you're doing what your being is like intended and where it's going, and usually that's leading you down the right path. And when you connect with that, you're connecting with it all, and all these things start to fall in place, and it's a very beautiful process. So, like you said, tuning in, following that frequency of your light and your heart, and and gravitating with that force that's all around us in that sense. It's there, it's always there.
Yeah. Okay. Silver is protective. Love. Yes. Some metals that you can wear are protective. Copper is very healing. Silver is protective. So is gold as well. What do you know about the metals? Is there any kind of alchemy kind of thing going on, or something that just being protective? What do you know about that, Travis?
Yeah. A lot of the metals. Yeah, it's very, very interesting that, like I said, the silver, it has a lot of components, a lot of different healing components as well, and a lot of purification.
Purification. That's the word.
Yeah,
yes.
People would put it in water and stuff like that. But like I said, a lot of little people, they love the silver objects.
Really?
Shiny? Yeah, oh yeah. They love that stuff. They go nuts for that. They love that silver. But because like you said, shiny. It's it's just it's so beautiful to them. Like I said, there's a lot of like gold statues and gold relics, and a lot of connection. Like it does help with the frequency of our minds, and these things are are there,
Nice.
and it does, like I said, play on the frequencies, and people do connect with them. I've seen gold little, like, I should say, like trinkets, like on sacred objects and things, that people use, and they tell us that's like part of that connection with that, and there's like a few other different things too, like people use on different weapons and things, like,
Silver
but
bullets
somebody
for werewolves
that
and
yeah,
vampires and things. Yeah.
very much so, like arrowheads and different little things, and it does play, like I said, axes and different, like there are different stuff that are blessed and taken into battle like that,
Oh
and
yeah.
very connective, very connecting. Like I said, it's all alive, right? And these things come from the earth, and especially when they're put in with that connection and in tune with that, then it just kind of
Has
like
a
it becomes,
vibration.
it becomes
Yeah.
connected with that in that tune, and it amplifies, especially when the people are with it, and like I said, it's a matter of connection in that universe. It becomes a gift, right? And how it's respected and whatnot. Like there were so many different sacred weapons throughout our time, and
Okay.
different ways people had to like use them and respect them, and and
Yes. Can I let you in on a
vows.
little secret, Travis? I have a little secret that I don't tell a whole lot of people, but I have a jewelry shop that it's called War Woman Goods, and it is I got the inspiration from my Cherokee friends in North Carolina, and the fact that there's a place that like to go hang out that's called War Woman Road. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it at that, and every piece of jewelry that I have, I sell Native American like vintage jewelry, turquoise and different things like that. And I like to wear it. I wear my jewelry before I sell it because I try to get my vibe up really high,
Yep.
and I like infusing that good energy into all my jewelry that I have before I send it out to anybody, because you don't know who's actually had that jewelry before you get it. It's got that frequency to it. It's got
Yep.
some sort of energy connected to it. And I like to think that it's good energy, but I'm like, well, I know my energy is pretty good. So I'm going to put it on, and I wear it all before I put it on the market to sell it to people. So I know
Yeah.
that sounds weird. It may sound kind of crazy, but I mean, I do that just to have high vibrational stuff to go out. And I feel like it's important because when people buy my jewelry, I feel like it's meant to go to that person, and that frequency is meant to go to that particular person for whatever reason. I know it may sound weird, but that's just what I feel.
No, no. Actually, well, in our culture, a lot of the beaters and people that are craftsmen or craftwomen, crafters, they would get these visions of people wearing beaded hats or beaded different beaded patterns, and they bead those for them, and it's kind of like part of the spirit thing, right? And it's almost like a journey in that sense too. So in colors, they're very high frequencies. They all play on different frequencies. Every color has a frequency, too. It's not just like plants, and it's also colors too, and those are all part of that too, like our minds picking up colors and seeing colors, and it's all interpretation, that our minds just trying to all stay on that same frequency of continuity, but it's
That's right. And okay, so Brown Dwarf, what's up, Brown? He's in the chat tonight, and I just took his comment down a couple minutes ago, but he was talking about the bells on old world architecture and those structures, and I've been doing a lot of research on this. I know Brown Dwarf has too. We've done a show or two about this stuff, and back. Let's go back in history a couple, 100 years or so. Let's just say 100 years. There's something called like the old world architecture and things like that, and it might go back to the Tartarian Empire. I don't know. It's just something we're kind of looking into, and there's something called somatics. I think it's called somatics, where there's like sound frequencies and stuff, and there's a lot of bells on top of these buildings, and it would project sound frequencies all over the town where these buildings were erected and constructed, and it was very healing for the people, and even today, there's a lot of bells in churches that ring at certain hours. My mom there's one in town. She lives in a small town here in Georgia, and every hour the bell rings. I mean, I think that was meant to put out healing, positive energies throughout the community at some point. But I think that got lost, perhaps.
Yeah, Definitely to call in higher vibrations. Definitely, I'm totally agreeing on that. A lot of the old temples too, like were built frequency for sound, and like like a lot of those Teotihuacan, like those sun temples out in Mexico they're all designed so that you can hear somebody from the top, but right on the very center in the square. It's like I said, it's all played on this frequency and vibrations, and yeah, it's very connected. So it is a thing, like with all that and certain, but I was hearing I think I was watching tuning into one of your episodes, and people are talking about whistling at night and stuff like that, and I was saying, yeah, that's usually a sign when the something bad's around. Whistling. Like I said, my cousin, before he passed away, he was getting possessed by these evil like entities, and he was literally becoming evil. And like I was there to shake it out of him one night outside his house, and he's like, "I'm sorry, cousin, I love you." And I'm like, I don't, and I'm like, well, quit letting it take your mind, like you got to be strong, And then he's like, "I will. I'm sorry." And then he got up, and when he was walking back in his house, he started whistling out to the woods, and I heard that whistle back, and I was freaked out because I thought he was calling his mom, because his mom was all freaked out, and I thought she ran for safety in the woods. But then she came out of the house, and I was like, "All right, there it is. That's something evil over there." And but it's like so like, and then another thing too is like to like people like there's like that whole thing, you don't whistle at the northern lights, because then you're calling the spirits down, like to come pick you up, like to take you with, like to bring you along their train, like when they're walking by, like because sometimes you'll see them walking across the land in the northern lights. There'll be like horses and wagons and all these different spirit entities, sometimes warriors on horsebacks, and all these like very like sometimes even spirit animals and different things like going by. And that's like one of the reasons why we don't whistle at them at night. Like we'll and like we'll go, "Oh wow, that's beautiful," we'll see it and be respectful and whatnot, right? But like they never whistle at it, because you're just calling that in, like kind of like it's like the whole UFO thing, like if you're calling those in it, and you're messing around, you know what I mean? Things are gonna come around and try to like,
It's the same. I'm so sorry about your cousin. I remember when that happened. I saw you posting something on Facebook. I my condolences. I'm so sorry about that. And thank you for sharing that story though about the whistling, because that's something that I hear quite often. Is don't whistle at the Bigfoots or in the woods or whatever. You don't whistle because you don't know what's going to happen. And it is kind of connected to the whole UFO ET thing, where we have the family who the mother was calling in the spaceships at night. So you just never know what you're going to get unless you know what you're dealing with. And that also includes spirits and ghosts and things like that. Don't call those things in unless you know how to shut it down and protect yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's pretty terrifying.
Well, it's like, it's a matter of people like becoming aware, and like sometimes you don't meet, like you can't tell the difference unless you see it, right? So
That's
sometimes
right.
it's a learning, sometimes
Learning curve.
creation or our universe, however you want to put it, shows you these things, so you see the difference, you know what I mean? And the person is making that choice, you know what I mean, to find the light in the universe, and that's a beautiful thing. But yeah,
That's why
like
we're here. We're here on our own journeys. We're on a journey. We have free will, and every bad thing that happens to us, it's all a lesson. I am so thankful for all. I have had some horrible things happen to me in this life. I've experienced some horrible people, but I've also experienced some beautiful people, and I've experienced the whole spectrum of good and bad, and it's okay, because it made me who I am, and that was the whole point of being here, and what it means to be a human. I think I'm a human. I'm going to say I'm a human, because I'm having a human experience. So
right, yeah,
I'm a human this life. I know that.
definitely. Oh, it's a beautiful thing to be, and to be on this earth, and to be a part of all these different beings and creatures that are here, and like I said, it's a matter of connecting with that, right, and being a part of that. And also too, all the new things that are coming in that people get to see and that are now being discovered out there and are going to continue to be discovered and seen. There's just really nothing they can do to stop that part of this whole process, and that's what's going to be, and we'll be here for that. You know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be, this video up on YouTube and different things, like, but it is, like I said, I see it already happening. A lot of these beings coming back around, and like I said, the energies, the portals, it's all opening, and these frequencies are coming back, and a lot of our ancestors and a lot of, like, throughout time have had these connections, and a lot of us are very, very much connected. We don't even realize it. It's like, but it's very much a part of us. And it's like, yeah, it's definitely, it's part of this human experience.
And Travis, something you and I have discussed, and I had you on my daytime show, or it was actually my remote viewing show, and I was remote viewing the Fresno Nightcrawlers, and you and I both, and you had remote viewed them as well, and you came on, and we had the best conversation about what these entities are, because I did see that they are real entities, and they look like a pair of bell-bottom pants walking through the forest. Okay, they're the cutest little cryptid I've ever seen. But you had a wonderful explanation to what they were, and it matched up with my data, and so we do have helpers in this realm helping us to raise the vibration of this planet. So let's talk about the Fresno Nightcrawlers for just a minute. I mean, I think that pertains to what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah. In our culture we call them the Tipiskagi Pimotina. And that's it can be translated as night walkers or night crawlers. And but those like these frequencies of the earth, like I said, they transmit out there too, and the earth itself is a living being. And this being also has protectors and helpers of its own that has nothing to do with us. You know what I mean? But these higher frequencies are there to help this earth. And, like when I was remote viewing a lot of the spaceship and seeing these different light world Palladian ships and different all these different technologies and aliens that were creatures and ultra-terrestrials that were in this building piece of this spaceship were all like pertained to connected to the earth. And like a lot of them, there was like the blobs that were like gonna like clean the ocean. There was like stuff that were gonna fly around like in the sky in the clouds or cleaning our atmosphere. And there's like other stuff that would, like you said, walk in the earth, and they're walking around, and they're like part of this energy, and they're like flowing through the dimensions. And it's like it's a changing experience for that. And when you see all those things, and but yeah, the Fresno Nightcrawlers, like I said, they're a peaceful part of the natural calling to this earth. Like I said, they're helpers for the earth's being in itself. So
they're here to help, though. They're here to help raise the vibration of the planet. I think that they're utilizing these natural portals that we have all over the earth, and they're coming in and out to. It's almost like part of the grid, like the light worker system, the galactic star seeds. There's a lot of entities, of beings, people that are humans, that are, or at least appear to be human, that live their life as humans. There are people here to ground the light codes and the light energy, and to be placed strategically all over the planet. And I mean, these night crawlers, as we call them, whoever calls them, they're not just in Fresno, California. They're all over the world. And I actually have a teammate of mine who lives in South Carolina who had a picture of a nightcrawler in his backyard. And they look pretty non-harmful. They look harmless, of course. But yeah, there's a whole lot of forces working to help the planet right now. And as much chaos as that we're in right now, as much strife and depression that people are experiencing right now, there's also the opposite of that. And there's a whole lot of love on this planet, and a whole lot of people helping and wanting the best for everybody. And those Fresno Nightcrawlers, they're just chilling. They're just here to help. So. And I think a lot of these cryptids are not here to harm anybody. They're here to help. I think there's a focus on a lot of the negative cryptids right now, like the dog man, for instance. Like, and they're not all bad, I don't think. But, you know, you do a show on dog man, you're guaranteed to get the views. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's why there's so many. And I'm just saying that, I'm just trying to be honest right now. I'm being very honest. I'm putting it out there. When people do shows on the dog man, they get the views. Okay. And I don't know, it's because of the shock factor of it, you know, because there's not as much known about dog man as there are other cryptids. Travis, I'm not sure what's going on with that, but
Tim Napwheel, he there's a lot of different shapeshifters and people in our culture that were able to take form of these sometimes these beasts or these animals. There was one guy in our area, his name was Boggy Slew, and he was a very powerful medicine man, healer. He was very mystical to the earth and very connected to it. But one of the things that people would say when he'd go out and stuff, they'd be like, "Oh, that guy there, he was able to transform into a coyote." And people like kind of chuckle and like, yeah, right. And but he never owned a vehicle, and there was cases where the McLennan train, the people driving the train were telling the people at the bar one night, they're like, yeah, whenever we drive through here and in this part of the area, we'll see this man, and then when we're driving through, we'll see a coyote running along following the train, and we get to the next stop and he's a man again. You know, there's that guy there again. How did he get in front of the train? This is like years ago, before like everybody was all in like the cars and everything. Like, this is like trains and horsebacks, but this guy was doing this, and it came right down to my dad's dad actually followed his tracks home, and they were human when he was leaving the town in the winter. And then they became coyote, and then they went through the woods, and he followed them all along the train track. And then when they got too close to his house, he turned back to human, and he went in there into his house. So he didn't see the transformation, but he see the transformation in the tracks that he followed. But that's so like there's a lot of these people that can transform into animals and different kind of creatures, and just a little bit on that other part where you're like, there's not too much on the positive side. Yeah, a lot of these creatures and these dimensional beings, like they're natural guardians to our this planet. You know, we're talking like dragons, we're talking the bears, we're talking the eagles, we're talking, you know what I mean, like these creatures, the gorillas, and like they're all, and elephants, and they're all very much connected to this earth, and they're natural guardians, and their spirits are very
cats too, right?
Yeah, and
our domesticated pets, they're protectors.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that goes right back to a lot of like Atlantis things, right? Because there's a lot of beings in Atlantis. Like Atlantis, a lot of people don't talk about, but Atlantis fell 3 times. There was 3 cataclysms that actually happened. A couple of them were natural wars and disputes between animal races and humans over this planet, and then eventually, the asteroid, and that was the Younger Dryas. That was 13,800 years ago, roughly. But a lot of these the falls and stuff even go further back than that, like these other wars and catastrophes that were self-inflicted because of disputes between animal races and human races. But yeah, a lot of these, like I said, in respects, and still kind of are tied to us from those times, and we just fail to see it, but it's right in front of us.
Yes. Okay. There's a question in the chat. Is a coyote regarded as a trickster? Is it venerated? Is it highly regarded with all natives? And what's up with the coyote? And before you answer that, I do want to say something. I have a friend. His name is Mike. He has a YouTube channel called Abnormal Investigations, and he talks about his personal experience where he watched a group of coyotes stand up on their hind legs and walk like humans. And it was like they were small. They weren't like these huge dogmen that you hear about. They looked like regular coyotes, but they were all walking on their hind legs. One of them actually climbed a tree and was like staring at him. It was odd, very odd. But he considered them like dogmen.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
What's the story behind this?
All right, so there's a sense of humor that always comes with a coyote because of their smile and their playful attitudes, and it's like it's almost like he's like, even the fact that they'll befriend a dog and lead it into a pack out in the woods, like, that trickster, it's a trick, like, and sometimes it's in a good ways too, like they're playing around, and sometimes these beings, like I said, a human form will take a coyote form, and they'll, like it's all part of might be part of the trickster totem. It's like we've had trickster spirits come into like ceremonies and stuff like that, and they'll ring bells and stuff like that, and to show that they're there to play around and joke around with us and stuff, and like Wasaki Chuck would come do that, and a few other people but like what I'm getting at though is it's varied, but yeah, like the coyote is always like kind of like it's always kind of like a sense of humor, like like a very we call it I don't know, but it's like a conniving kind of way. That's what I mean by it. Like that's I don't know how to explain that, but kind of a funny little
I thought it was kind of tricksters a little bit, and I thought it was interesting that Mike his experience was that they look like just normal coyotes. They look like normal dogs. They got up on their hind legs and they were just walking around like it was just normal, but they still look like coyotes, but walking on their hind legs, and they were all doing it, which was really odd to him. So, and it's odd to me. If I saw it, I don't know what I'd do. I mean, I guess I wouldn't freak out, but I would definitely pull out a camera and take some pictures or something, because that ain't right. It's a little odd.
Like there's been stories like where the trickster would take the form of a buffalo and get up and dance, and the buffalo would dance, and it would totally look like the most freakiest thing anybody's ever seen in their life. But like that's some tales there with that, right? And but usually when that's like a sign, usually the person's name is like Dancing Buffalo, or there's like some sort of like big message to that, right? So maybe there's a dance or some dance need to be held, or or the person needs to go down that path of that, and there's like other little, it's always tied to something. There's always meaning behind it, and and that's part of the trickster. Like there's always a meaning to it, like, and it's not just, it's usually when things are done, and then it's about making like there's like always a lesson to be learned. You know what I mean? It's never just done to try to go ha ha at you. You know what I mean? It's not like a prankster. Like these things are done so it kind of propels you or puts you into this like path where you're figuring out this meaning behind it all. But yeah,
Travis, there's a lesson in everything, isn't there? If you look for it, there is a lesson. Yeah, I don't know. This is so amazing. I love talking about this stuff with you. You are so knowledgeable in all of these topics that we talk about. I mean, I wanted to talk to you about Inner Earth tonight, but I just don't know if we're going to have time to cover that topic, because there's so much to talk about when it comes to Inner Earth.
What's your one question? What's your one question?
I don't have just one question. I have a million questions about it. It comes up Inner Earth comes up in a lot of my remote viewing targets that I do, and it's inadvertent. Like I don't know what I'm looking for in these targets. They're blind targets, so I'm not sure what I'm looking for. But in targets like Dyatlov Pass, that incident, for instance, there's the Inner Earth aspect to that. I think that wherever they were actually, they trespassed onto an area that was guarded. It was an entrance to Inner Earth, I believe. And that's why they were attacked, or they lost their lives. There are like High Brazil. Like I was given this target, High Brazil. I didn't know what that was. It's a phantom island that has ties to Inner Earth. Okay. There's just so many targets that I've done. They all have a connection to Inner Earth. A lot of these spaceships, UFOs, they have ties to Inner Earth. I don't think they're even from outer space. I think they're coming from Inner Earth. Okay, and it's not my opinion. It's my data. So, what do you think about all that?
It's a wild one, because the Inner Earth, there are so many different portals and connections. Like almost honeycombs out. There's different parts of there's even new developments now with like a lot of the ice being melted and a lot of new water being flowing around down there. And it's also too, a lot of these places still have high resonance and frequency. So like a lot of times when we're remote viewing, we'll tap into that frequency and we're seeing something that's like almost like a ghostly resonance that's left left there from like this past time, and we're interacting with that, and we'll be seeing like these massive like insectoid hives, which was taken care of last year. I'm not going to go in details, but like I
Scary. That
said,
sounds terrifying.
but
But you took
like I said,
care of it, so it's all good,
oh,
right?
they're gone now. They're gone now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, but
Travis
on that
saves the
another
day.
on another note, though, like I said, it's a you know,
You
and when
sleep
we're seeing,
well,
you'll
Earthlings.
yeah, you'll see the crystal cities, and you'll see these beautiful high vibrational pockets of gems, and like these and just take it in. If you see
Crystals.
it, take
Yeah.
it in. Take it in your
Breathe
vibration, and
deep.
allow it to just like, you know, just to fill that what you're seeing, that vision, that of this like inner earth dimension. And you know, because like I said, these crystals, and they have stories to tell themselves, because they're frequency to what they've seen over the millions and millions of years, you know.
Yeah.
It's like libraries, crystal
I love it. It all just holds all the
libraries.
information, all the energy, all the love. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All the love.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Travis, I just love you. You're amazing. Thank you. This has been amazing. Travis, thank you so much for joining me tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I know that our chat, everybody watching tonight enjoys it. And we really appreciate you. You are a fan favorite here at Spaced Out Radio. You are jazz hands. Jazz hands. Please come
I'm
back.
happy to be. I'm happy to be here. I'm just, you know, I don't know, but it's resonating out there. I feel it. It's going.
It's amazing.
So
It's
like,
amazing. Yes. Yes. Well, I would love for you to please come back and see us, and come over and see me at the Cryptid Huntress over on YouTube too, and come to my show Off the Trails on Space Out Radio sometime. Okay. I know you'll be back.
I'm
Like I
ready.
said, you're a fan favorite. Okay.
Ooh.
Awesome. Okay. Well, listen. Where can people find you? Where can people find you? Do you have a website or anything? I know you do artwork.
Yeah, I do. I post artwork online under Travis Willier, actor, writer, painter. I also have YouTube Planetary Wisdom, which is more like music. It's just kind of wild songs. There's a song called Moon War. You know, it's one of
Okay.
my more played ones. I put out wild, random stuff. You know, there's written work out there. The Palladian Who Stole Me in My Heart. There's a couple other stuff out there that I've written. Dark Moon Base. Check out some of those. They're wild stuff. Like I said, this is just. Like I said, it is what it is, right? We're in this world and universe, and just it's a matter of connecting and
Just
yeah,
going. Yeah, everybody,
connecting.
y'all go support Travis, man. Travis, you're amazing, and you have some great artwork, and yeah, everything you do is amazing, and it's all very high vibrational. Okay,
Oh
so
yes.
right, very high vibrational. Okay, well, Travis, thank you. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much again for being here. I'm about to take another 5 minute break real quick, and I'm going to bring Tim Senor up. Well, he's going to give us the UFO report tonight,
I
and I'm
can.
looking forward to that. All right, Travis, thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. We will see you next time on Space Out Radio. Okay, awesome. And audience, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Y'all don't go anywhere. Oh my gosh, that music, y'all. That was great. Thank y'all for waiting around and coming back and being with me here on Spaced Out Radio. This is so much fun. I'm having so much fun here tonight. And Travis Willier Moostoos, that was such an amazing time with him tonight. And for the last part of our show tonight, I have Tim Senor here with me tonight. He's going to give us the UFO report. And so I'm going to bring up Tim. I don't have that fancy music that Dave uses usually. It wasn't here tonight. So welcome to the show, Tim. Hey, it's so nice to meet you, and thank you for being here with me.
Thank you so much. It's great to finally meet my spaced out sister.
Absolutely. Yes. I have to admit to you, I don't know a ton about UFOs. My specialty are cryptids. Cool. And but I have definitely experienced UFOs. I have definitely experienced ETs, and I know you're the expert. I mean, are any of us really experts? I don't know, but
exactly.
You know more than I do. So to me, you're an expert.
Oh boy, well, yeah. If you've had those kind of experiences, I think you probably are a leader on this. That sounds cool. Love to dive into that, to be honest. But I've got some news if you want to talk about it.
I would love it because I've been hearing a lot about UFOs in the news lately, Tim. And I think that maybe some of the stuff you're going to talk about tonight is some of the stuff I've heard about. So, yeah, I would love to hear it. Let's hear it.
Awesome. So, to start out, Tucker Carlson shares bizarre tale of troops dying from UFO encounters. And so during an appearance on the Full Send podcast, Fox News, Tucker Carlson recalled a recent discussion with Stanford professor who 11 years ago was allegedly tasked by the Defense Department to investigate numerous cases of troops dying due to UFO-inflicted brain injuries. And so the polarizing host of Tucker Carlson Tonight shared that his source, who claimed to have his expertise in traumatic brain injury, studied the brains of more than 100 troops who died following such encounters. And so the professor also told Carlson that there are dozens of open court cases that support his claims. And so in a number of those cases, these things have landed on military bases. Servicemen have approached them and they get traumatic brain injury or they're killed. And so Carlson said on the podcast, I'm like, why isn't this on the front page of the New York Times? I don't know.
That's right.
And so the U.S. military, meanwhile, is having no part of this particular UFO discussion, saying simply that the story is false, in a quote from Susan Go, a Defense Department spokesperson. So this great article that I'm reading from Military Times included that the Pentagon declined to comment any further, stating simply that UFOs have become a hot button topic among military officials in recent months. So it's pretty interesting to get his position with such an outlandish potential case, but you might have some insight that goes a little beyond this, and I'd love to hear some details.
I mean, it's good to know people. It's all I'm going to say. It's good to know people who have some involvement in the military and things like that. And not to get into detail, but yes, I do know some people who do have a little bit of inside information about this. And it just so happens that they shared some of that with me. They were talking about what had really been going on with some of these craft. I had a friend who passed away, actually, who had some involvement with crashed UFOs and things like that, who had been in the military. Something he couldn't talk about while he was living, at the time. He wasn't supposed to mention anything about it, but I kind of knew a little bit about what he had done. But yeah, they say that you get a massive headache. A lot of the soldiers were getting massive headaches when they got about 100 yards from these ships. Many of them would black out. I actually wrote my notes down. Okay, I have some notes here because I got a lot of information about it.
That's cool.
But many of them would black out, and the military had developed a special helmet to protect the soldiers now. So this was something that was happening for quite a while, but there is a special helmet
Is it made of
that they use
tinfoil?
now. Is it what?
Is it made of tinfoil?
I
You
don't
know,
think so.
UFOs and the tinfoil hats.
I don't think so. Listen, my tinfoil hat is like a big bonnet, okay?
I like that.
My tinfoil hat has become a bonnet. It's like I wear it to the beach, you know, one of those beach hats, you know.
I like that. How
yes.
interesting, an actual helmet to protect them, I'm assuming.
That's what I've been told. I mean,
Wow.
I don't know. I'm not in the military. I've never done any of this stuff. This is secondhand information. So I'm
wouldn't
not
doubt
even
it.
sure.
Very
But
interesting.
exactly, it's not. It doesn't sound out of the realm of possibility, though, in my opinion. And also, the soldiers that would get close to these craft, anyone, you don't have to be a soldier, anyone that got close to them, they would experience vertigo. And many would go into convulsions, is what I was told. Now, I asked personally, is it radiation? Is it infrasound? Because, you know, I work with cryptids, and I do a lot of work in the field. And when I say work, it's just research. It's not like I'm working, getting paid by some company. I'm doing this for fun, okay? But I have experienced the infrasound. I've experienced radiation when it comes to the portals and things like that my team's experienced. So I got a yes and a yes. Okay, so infrasound and radiation, and I was told it's not pleasant. Okay,
Wow.
so yeah, that's pretty much the information that I have on this. But yeah, it's a real thing, and I would love to see what those helmets look like.
Yeah, that's
Right?
very intriguing, but I imagine they definitely exist. Why wouldn't they? That's really neat.
Why wouldn't they? I mean, you got to think of if this has been going on for some time now, there has to be something made to protect from it. So
Right.
yeah,
A little more from
tinfoil
this
crown.
a little more from this article goes into the fact that last week the head of the Pentagon's All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, ARROW, drafted a report suggesting alien vessels could indeed be sending out search probes throughout our solar system. And so an artificial interstellar object could potentially be a parent craft that releases many small probes during its close passage to Earth. And so an operational construct not too dissimilar from NASA missions. And so Sean Kirkpatrick wrote in the report co-authored by Avi Loeb, chairman of Harvard University's astronomy department. This paper named the physical constraints on unidentified aerial phenomenon. The research paper was published after weeks of heightening reporting on the UAP after a Chinese spy balloon traversed the US airspace. And so we can see them considering some pretty out-of-the-box possibilities for what UAP could be, and even considering the fact that there might be a large mothership that is distributing these kind of like a dandelion concept, if you will, out down to the planet. And I heard you talking earlier about things coming from inner Earth, and I think you might have something there, inner Earth, underwater, because there's definitely an interest there, and they seem to interact pretty seamlessly with, volcanoes, the water. And so why couldn't they traverse our mantle and such and get into the inner Earth? Very plausible, and I enjoyed that concept. I thought deeply on that. So transmedium could potentially include our Earth planet crust. Why not if it's truly transmedium?
Wow. Yeah, no, I have a friend from my hometown back in the day. He was actually best friends with my cousin, okay? And he hit me up. I think he thought it was funny that he saw that I was the cryptid huntress and, chasing Bigfoots in the woods and stuff. It caught his attention, and I think that he saw that I was very vocal about the UFO connection to Bigfoot and to all the paranormal stuff that we experience out in the field. And he told me in confidence which I'm exposing it to the world right now. He shall remain nameless, but he was part of the Navy, and he said that while they were on a ship, they would, I'm not going to say frequently, but they had at times seen UFOs go into the ocean and then come out of the ocean. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on. Okay, a lot of weird stuff going on. But he still didn't believe in Bigfoot. Even though he had seen that, he was like, well, I'm still not sure about Bigfoot, but I've seen what I've seen. And so fair enough, fair enough. He felt comfortable enough to tell me about it. But yeah, who knows? Tim, there's a lot of weird stuff going on.
Well, I don't think that you have to believe in one to believe in the other. And I think belief is a pretty heavy word. Somebody might have had an experience with one, but not another. And it doesn't mean, that one exists and the other doesn't, because it's very plausible. Anything is possible, right? We're starting to think out of the box. Yeah,
absolutely. And you brought up probing, and I was like, oh, I don't like hearing probing when I'm out in the field and I'm experiencing ETs. That's the last word we want to hear. I'm just saying. Yeah,
alien probes. Yeah, no, we'll call them UAPs, alien UAPs. It's a little different.
Well, I say UFO. I've still not gotten used to saying UAP. It's hard to say that.
Good. Is
it good? Okay.
Well, it's a 4-letter word here on this show.
Yes, I know Dave doesn't like it.
UAPs.
When I hear that, I have a hard time accepting it. I'm just,
Good for you.
I'm a progressive woman, but I still like the word UFO or the acronym.
Right. Well, I think it's more descriptive of the actual phenomenon of UFO and alien, whereas UAP is kind of more, it could be a missile. It could be a ball of plasma. It could be lightning,
It could be.
Whereas UFO is very specific. It's a disc, or it could be a ball of light or whatever, but it's more in the ET world, right? And so I think that should be the discernment. At least that's how we're kind of throwing it around here loosely that way to discern it.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I'm glad I'm a part of Spaced Out Radio, where we still refer to them as UFOs.
Yes. Fight the
UFO power.
That's right. That's right. Power. I love that. And it's interesting because I see we've still got time, so I can kind of stick on the topic. Because in the second story, are you cool? Just since it's so closely linked.
Let's do it.
And it's titled Unveiling the Enigma, talking about cylindrical UFO mothership and its progeny. So kind of along the lines of what Avi Loeb and Sean Kirkpatrick were talking about in their theoretical paper of the dandelion theory of UAP. And so this is a great article coming from latestUFOsightings.net. And it's talking about a remarkable photograph that recently unearthed from the depths of the once secret Project Blue Book files. And it has ignited a resurgence of the interest in the UFO phenomenon. And so the image captured on March 20th of 1950 actually depicts a cylindrical UFO hovering over New York City, accompanied by numerous smaller objects believed to be extraterrestrial probes. Okay, and so it's the big bad word, but for decades, the military attempted to conceal this captivating image, excuse me, offering dubious explanations such as attributing the sighting to the moon or the clumsy cover-up continuing with the erasure of the photographer's name from the project's files, along with the names of other individuals connected to the case. And so I don't know if you want to, did you get the photographs that I sent? Because you can bring that up and we can show our audience that has YouTube up. For decades, the military attempted to conceal this captivating image. And so as reported on March 10th, the Pentagon has recently acknowledged the possibility of the alien mothership concept, dispatching probes down to the Earth. And so this 1950 photograph provides some compelling evidence to such claim, supporting and suggesting that the government has been aware of the existence of such motherships for many, many years. And so this is an image here.
1950? That's almost 100 years ago.
Yeah, this is an old article. I'm starting to realize that. This isn't We're probably an
But
8-year-old
I'm
article.
saying that
Yeah,
1950, that's like 75 years ago almost. That's so
indeed.
wild.
And so the photograph that we provided is basically looking kind of, I mean, it very descriptive of a cylinder with lines running around it, much more cylindrical than even the Oumuamua that had Avi Loeb so interested. But perhaps something like this is what has triggered his interest in Oumuamua. Maybe he had access to this kind of information. And in the second photo, you can really see the small probes that are almost looking like they could be ejected from it. And so the big question is, why has the Pentagon chosen to disclose the information about these enigmatic motherships and their small UFO progeny now? And there must be significant reason behind this decision to bring this subject into the public eye. And the recent revelations have sparked a wave of intrigue and speculation among UFO enthusiasts and the general public alike. It's kind of exciting. What's your initial thought when you see something like that?
I mean, it's 1950. Okay, so it blows my mind that they're just releasing this now, like literally 75 years later, when there's so much more. I mean, they say that the technology is like 100 years ahead, at least, of like what we see today, anyways, and they're showing us something from 1950. I just see beyond the veil of a lot of this disclosure and things like that. And I'm always telling everyone, don't depend on your government to disclose this information to you. Watch the YouTube channels of people who are boots on the ground out there doing the research and, spaced out radio, things like that. Because our government is not going to tell us the truth. My God, that was 73 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a joke, in my opinion. I'm just saying, no offense, but it's not to anyone. We're talking about the story. It's just the government and the Pentagon. Like 50 years later,
right?
It's just wild. I mean, I have seen ETs with my own eyes. I know that I've seen. I mean, I deal with Bigfoots and stuff. Yeah. I know I'm on some kind of weird watch list. I know too much already, as it is. But with the UFOs, come on, it's just odd. It's just very odd to me. And I do think there probably is a mothership up there. I've been hearing a lot about that in the news lately. I mean, I've seen, literally, Tim, I have seen a video from one of my best friends. He has obtained this video. He will not release it to the public because the woman who had it, she was with MUFON. Angela Shear, she passed away a couple of years ago. And it was her video that she had. And my friend has access to it. It's orbs that fly past a CCTV camera in somebody's backyard. They land in the ground on somebody's backyard. They turn into aliens. And they run around. I'm telling you, I've seen some weird stuff in my lifetime.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Well, Grant Cameron was like, if you come on, he and I have done a show together. He was like, if you ever air that, I'll tell everybody about it. And I can't get my friend to make it public. Not yet. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll come on Spaced Out Radio.
Oh, he needs to.
He should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's an amazing account. What a piece of video.
Yeah, because I think things are so much farther advanced than like what they're showing us. A lot of these orbs that we're seeing, I don't even think that they're UFOs. I think they're actual entities. But that's just my opinion from what I've been shown. I don't know.
They could be. I filmed one right here during a rainstorm, and it just floated kind of like a bubble. Didn't seem to have any intelligence to it, but it just was cruising at treetops and then floated off towards the city. And like I said, during a rainstorm, there's something to it.
Odd.
It's, maybe it was curious or just hanging out, I don't know. But
I've seen, or that's one constant that we have in the Bigfoot community. Like I'm not going to say community, but with my team, when we go out in the field, we see a lot of orbs, and the orbs are very different. They can be transparent, they can be solid, they can be orange, white, they can have faces of humans in them. Okay, it's really
And you
odd.
see your naked eye, or in the
Yes,
images after?
both. I see them with my naked eyes. I
Mm.
had a case where I was actually in a place that my team researches. We call the Meadow, and I came home one night because my son was only 3 years old at the time, and so I couldn't stay the whole time that my team was out there. And I came home, and when I got home, there were orbs in my house floating around my son, and his father, who I was married to at the time, had his camera phone out and was filming them dancing around my son. And he could not see the orbs with his bare eyes, with his naked eyes, but my son and I could both see them. And my son's pointing at them and following them with his finger around. And his dad could not see them except for through his phone at all. And so it was really freaky, but that was a very good moment that taught me that not everyone can see what I see. Okay, not in my son as well. You have to be on that frequency, and so there's something to it
Yeah, you
for
were
sure.
kind of talking about, the article, the medical aspects of getting up close and personal with aliens and UFOs. And do you think potentially at some early point in your life you were exposed, and so it changed you chemically, or it changed your brain the way we know Gary Nolan, Dr. Gary Nolan, is studying and talking about pretty freely? Um, do you think perhaps that's what happened to you, and so now you have this ability, and um, maybe that's what initiates it for a lot of people?
I think so. I don't remember specifically an incident when I was young, but I do know that I had a fascination from the time I was in elementary school of black holes.
Mm.
And a lot of I would take my mat that I took to elementary school outside and lay on it and look for UFOs when I was a kid. And I lived on a farm, and I had a fascination with UFOs as a child, a little child. And so, yeah, probably so. I would see ghosts. But as I got older, I was also seeing aliens and things like that. And I questioned whether the ghosts that I was seeing as a child were aliens. Okay, and so there's a weird intermingling of ghosts and aliens in my life, and so yes, I do believe that I probably did have some sort of experience when I was a kid.
Interesting. Interesting.
Hmm.
Um, my whole family saw a UFO together, including my two very young kids. And since then, my son has said something really strange to me that, and to all of us eventually, that, and we don't talk about UFOs. He doesn't connect it. He didn't know he saw something strange. So this wasn't planted in his head at all. But he has a fear of looking up into the sky because he feels like he's falling up into it. Falling up into the
Falling
sky if he
up.
looks up. And so he doesn't like
Wow.
looking up into the sky. It's just an odd thing. And he doesn't. He really doesn't. It's almost like a little bit of a phobia. We're getting him
Wow.
over it, because he has telescopes and binoculars and we're outdoors people. But it was just an odd thing. And he really doesn't like looking into the sky. And you got to wonder, like, some of that stuff, where's that from? I don't look too deep.
Yeah.
I don't discourage him from talking about it, but at the same rate, it is odd. You got to wonder how early some of these experiences potentially start with people.
It does. And it's like with my son, I was mentioning earlier tonight, my son was walking out of the grocery store with me one day and he said, Mom, I've been here before. What is it called when you feel like you've already experienced something
Mhm.
at that moment? Like he explained it perfectly. Deja vu. And I was actually, it was one of those proud mom moments, like, oh my God, my
Yeah,
son knows what this is. And he has the wherewithal to understand it and know that this is not normal. It's not something that, it's something that he's aware of. And I was very proud of that. I was glad that he noticed.
yeah, and you should encourage him and tell him to get good at that kind of stuff, right? I
Absolutely.
remember when I was young, early getting into my film career, I would do a lot of stop motion stuff and claymation. And I don't know if you need to go to break or not here.
No,
But
we don't. Because we're not doing the radio tonight.
oh,
We'll go
okay.
straight through. Yeah, we're
Oh,
going
okay.
straight through.
Okay. Early on in my childhood, I told my mom that I could envision like anything, any perspective, like as we were driving by, a bird would fly by, and I'd like, I can see what it's saying, imagine that. And she was like, get good at that. And I ended up being a filmmaker when I was and a writer,
Wow.
as an adult. And it was because she encouraged me to get good at that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that out of body perspective, the POV of anything inanimate or animate for that matter. But encourage your son at those little skills, because it can turn out to be something pretty big potentially as an adult. I think that's great.
Absolutely. I do. Listen, he had no interest at all in Bigfoot. Okay, he never wanted to go with me to the field or anything, and I've been doing this for a while, since way before he was born. And finally this year he said, "Mom, I want to be the cryptid hunter. I want to go do Bigfooting." And so I started taking him, and so now he's finally interested in it. And I am encouraging him. He's very switched on psychically, and I think he's got a very open mind, and I think that's important when it comes down to doing research. And I was thinking, man, he has no idea how cool his mom is. He has no idea.
And you're cool taking him out there. Like, do you feel like those experiences out there, like it's friendly or
No, not at all. Some of them are, but no, I don't take him out there at night. He'll never go out where we research like that. I've taken him out one time where we do research it during the day, and
is there more safety in the
it's
daytime?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
There's more safety. It's still dangerous, in some way, but I have a team of elite, military guys and law enforcement people and stuff. We have a very awesome team and very safe, and so I felt safe taking them out there
And you
for
guys
a
use a lot
day.
of toys,
Yeah.
or do you go in low tech?
I go low tech. Okay, Jessica Jones is low tech. You can tell. You can tell by my computer skills. I'm a low tech kind of girl. But yes, I don't take a whole lot of stuff. I have ghost hunting equipment that I carry, but my team, some of the people, it depends. I'm a member of 3 different teams. One team, we just don't carry anything. We just go out there to experience. We're a bunch of remote viewers, and we get a lot of activity with that team. Now the other team, the one that goes to the meadow, we carry equipment. The guys carry equipment. At nighttime, we have our thermals, our fleers, night vision, Geiger counters, K2 meters, whatever we can take out there, we've got. We still get a lot of activity, but it's more like ET related and UFO related kind of activity. Now the team that's like remote viewing, we don't carry the equipment. We get more Bigfoot activity. So it really
Interesting.
just depends on what you want to
I guess I was going to kind
experience.
of ask that. Like, do you find you get more responses with no tech or with tech?
No tech. No tech. Well, it depends on what kind of experience you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of even when we don't do we do the low tech, let's just say, when we're bigfooting, we have more Bigfoot activity. We always have more Bigfoot activity when there's not a lot of equipment. But no matter what we're doing, we always have ET activity, portals, a lot of stuff that's not Bigfoot.
Do you
And
mind
we're
describing
we're
a
a Bigfoot
portal to
activity.
me? Let me,
A
what's
portal?
up? Yeah, what does that
Yeah,
look like? Or,
absolutely. My team has encountered at least one portal. I'm going to say 2, okay, but we've documented one portal, and the portal was not seen by the naked eye. You could not see it at all by just looking with your eyes open. It was late at night. The team was in the meadow, and it's a place that we investigate, and it's out in the middle of nowhere in the woods. There is an open space we do call the meadow, and the team was dispatched. Like, we never go any. We have strict protocol because it's so dangerous out there. There may or may not be a missing persons cluster in that area. Okay, with the missing 411 series with David Paulides.
interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely some kind of like underground base going on there. It's in the south, undisclosed location. The team was dispersed into different areas of the field. And one team had 3 members, and it was Dave, Terry, and Kristen. They're sitting there. Dave is looking through his thermal imaging camera. He sees something shows up in the middle of a field, and it looked like a cube. It was a box, and it was only seen because it had a heat signature to it. Okay, and it started off cold and it got hot. Okay, and it was about the size of like a shed in your backyard, and it looked like it had like a door in the middle and maybe a window, some crosses in it. It was really odd, and he was like, he kept looking at it like, man, am I losing my mind? And so he had Terry look at it. Terry saw it and said, oh my gosh, what is that? And so they sent team members from across the field that were close to it over to check it out. They walked up to it. It was just a square, like a cube is what they call it. We call it the cube. And they walked over to it. Bob and Tim walked to it. And as they walked over to it, they were guided to exactly where it was. And when they walked up to it, their heat signatures disappeared. They described it as walking into a black velvet curtain. And the temperature changed. The vegetation on the ground changed. It went from thick vegetation to smooth. Mind you, these are trained remote viewers as well. So we're all trained in remote viewing. My entire team is. And we're trained to pick up on energetic shifts and differences in energies and things like that, and environmental changes. So they're one of special forces. They're retired military, both of them. They noticed a difference. Something was wrong. Okay, even though they couldn't see what was going on, the stars disappeared. They couldn't see the stars anymore. And so they knew that something was off, and so they backed out and they walked backwards. They didn't know they were walking out of it, but they were. And as they moved out of it, the thing shrunk down. Kristen had the wherewithal to turn on her camera, and so she was filming it with her FLIR, and it shrunk down, and then it moved after they walked out of it, and then it disappeared. So, wow. Yeah.
That's intense.
It's very intense. It's something that I've never seen documented before. My team has it. We have not released it to the public yet, but it's there. And I've interviewed every single person on my team. It's on my YouTube channel, The Cryptid Huntress. Y'all can go watch it if you want. But it definitely happened.
There are some incredible witness stories of the cube concept.
Well, I had never heard that before at all until we've been public with this for about a year and a half now, and I had never heard anything about anyone experiencing a cube in a field. Now I'm hearing it a lot, which is odd, which is really crazy. It's even in that David Paulides UFO video, that film that he made.
It sure is. And actually, my family's event that took place on Bainbridge Island, it's called the Bainbridge Island Tic Tac event. And you can look it up, but that was basically a craft and a little white cigar. And the little white cigar fired a beam of some sort that opened up a cube in the sky, of which something either went in or out. I couldn't tell whether it was going in or out, but at the end of the event, there were more objects than I had seen or photographed in the beginning. Oh, by the way, I have 11 photographs of all of it.
No way.
Yeah.
When was that? When did that happen?
2019, July 5th.
Okay.
At 2 in the afternoon. Right over West Seattle from Bainbridge Island, across the Puget Sound, across the water. And I got really clear photos.
Okay, I'm trying to think what year. Okay, so my team encountered the cube 5 years ago. So what would that be? 2023, so 2018, I guess, is when we encountered the cube. 2018 or 2017. Yeah.
And this, what we saw was on the same coast, almost exactly 1,000 miles away from what was taking place on the Omaha at the same time, famously with the Green Pyramid videos.
Green Pyramid videos? I don't know anything about those.
Oh, Jeremy Corbell had released to the public some video that was taken with night vision that showed stars in the sky. and potentially something moving that when the iris is open all the way, sometimes stars can look like pyramids or triangles. And so,
Okay.
there's a little bit of up in the air of what that video is, but either way, there was something taking place. And what we had seen was 10 days before that on the same coast, 1,000 miles away. It was just one of those things like in your historical time map of UFOs, if you wanted to place my sighting somewhere in there, that's where it took place.
Wow.
But it was really intense. And it's the whole reason I'm here. I never knew anything about UFOs before that day. Literally never considered it a reality. None of my family did. So it was, the whole reason I met Dave, and the whole reason I'm here, the whole reason I'm now, doing documentary work and doing TV shows on the topic. So it's not the only thing I do, but it is at least 60%, a little bit more than half of what I'm doing right now is dedicated to this topic. And even with that experience, I'm still very much not sure what I saw. I'm not saying it's aliens. I don't know what it was, but it was enough to make me curious to find out more, right? And there was a psychological aspect that lingered that I'm definitely on the path to hopefully find out one day. So, like yourself, it's curious.
Well, would you consider doing a hypnotic regressive therapy, like a hypnotic regression therapy?
No, only because it's not a positive experience. The dreams and the things that are lingering from it that my whole family has that they don't know necessarily is connected to that, but it's a thing. I mean, Gary Nolan is onto something. I was a quarter mile away. I looked into that light for 2 minute 10 seconds. Actually, it was a 2.5 or so minute experience of which we were staring into that open portal that didn't move at all in the sky for a minute or so, and it was mesmerizing. And anyways, there was a lingering effect of it that makes me convinced there's no way I would want to dive deeper. I have enough. All I have to do is go to sleep at night, and I'm pretty much there. So
I feel you. Listen, I have never. I mean, I did do one regressive kind of hypnotic session, let's just call it. But I didn't get very deep into it. And so I don't really know what happened. For whatever reason, it's almost like my subconscious didn't want to know.
Yeah, I'm definitely
my higher
there.
self didn't want to know.
I don't want to know. And it, the part that I do know is really uncomfortable. And I'd love to, if I could erase it, I would much rather have hypnosis that's you're going to forget everything about that. And
you
that
get the little laser beam thing, like on MIB, that movie. Just wipe
the
your
flashy
memory
thing.
of it.
Yeah. I wish that was real. So,
it is real, from what I hear.
I do have some top secret news from the front lines from our captain of the space train leading us down the woo path. If you're into it, Dave sent me some insider information from the front lines.
The woo train.
Are you guys ready for this? From the front lines at UFO Con in San Francisco, our good friend Dave Scott informed me that he ran into John Ramirez. And John is excited because he's got his ticket for Vegas. So
I'll be there. Oh, yay.
Yeah, and so will John Ramirez, who is currently a counterintelligence and human intelligence expert, former CIA officer, right? And between 1984 and 2009, John Ramirez worked for the CIA, serving with the Directorate of Science and Technology, the Directorate of Intelligence, and Officer of Director Naval Intelligence. And he actually reached the ranking of GS-15, which means he served as a very senior position whilst at the agency. And so Ramirez burst onto the scene in 2021, and he is a highly intelligent individual who has an immense amount of knowledge and experience regarding the U.S. intelligence apparatus and the UAP subject. So if you guys want to come and meet this gentleman and hang out, he's going to be having some downtime with the SOR team. So maybe we're going to get...
I'd say get your VIP tickets, man. Everybody get your VIP tickets so you can hang out with that VIP party Friday night.
That's right. It's going to be a blast. And how cool is it that he's all excited to come and see us all and come and hang out in Vegas? We're going to have a blast.
It's
really
going to
going
be
to be
fun.
fun. Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah. And so I was really excited when he told me that. That's a big deal.
It's a big deal. I'm excited, man. And we're going to be broadcasting live from the Golden Nugget. So
Yeah.
maybe we can interview this fella. Okay. We're just going to have a lot of fun. Fingers crossed.
It would be the first time for SOR. He's never
Yeah?
been on the show.
Okay. Well,
Fingers
there's
crossed.
a first time for everything.
There is indeed. And so I still have a
We're
few
going to butter
nuggets.
him up and get some information out of him, right?
Yeah. I did save some news nuggets for the very end. I don't know if you want to talk about NASA or not.
I mean,
four-letter
NASA.
agency.
I don't know how I feel about NASA, but yeah, I went to the Space Center when I was in 6th grade, I believe. I live near Huntsville. I'm in Georgia, but I rode on the Gravitron. I think that's what that thing's called.
Yeah. Did you survive the Gravitron? That's
I'm
really the
alive
question.
today. Yes, I'm alive today. I think it's called the Gravitron. Yes. I survived
cool.
it.
That is super cool.
Absolutely. I actually there was a racetrack right by the Huntsville Space Center. I used to drive race cars when I was a kid too. So we used to go racing, and then my dad would take us to Hooters as kids after the race. So
Jessica,
that is
just
totally
so
an
much
aside.
information. That's great. Oh man. So
When I
chicken
was a little
wings.
kid. Thanks, Dad. Thanks,
racing.
Dad, for making me who I am today.
Fantastic.
Character development. Yes.
The Cryptid Huntress, everyone.
How do you think I became a Cryptid Huntress? It wasn't easy.
You still have a little bit of barbecue sauce right
I still
here.
have some ranch.
Yeah. That's great. I love that.
Oh my God. Watch out, Vegas. We're coming.
Oh yeah. Hooters, look out. We are on our way.
Hooters. Find a Hooters.
That's
Yes.
right. So NASA released some UAP facts for us, considering that they are diving into the UAP science research. And so NASA's Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Study has put out their frequently asked questions page on their NASA science posting at science.nasa.gov. And so they have it numbered out here, and I'll just go down and we can kind of talk about it and see how we feel about it. So the first one is number 1. The question is, will NASA be referring to UAP as unidentified anomalous phenomena? And so their answer is to be consistent with National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA. NASA will be calling UAP unidentified anomalous phenomenon. Okay, instead of the unidentified aerial phenomenon. And so they want to discern that. And so NASA's UAP independent study will be largely focused on aerial phenomenon, even though they're going to call it anomalous. It's very just counterintuitive.
I mean, do they pay people to have think tanks on this crap? Just call it a UFO. Who cares? Honestly, I'm just saying it's a UFO. I'm just saying. I mean, people are making money off of this. It's almost like it's.
But it's
useless.
funny that is their number 1. It seems very distinct as to what they're actually talking about. They have no idea, really, what
they're
the real
just wasting
conversation
time
is
and
about.
money. Okay,
Yeah.
and making people look that way, let's worry about what we're going to call it. When we have UFO, there's a mothership. Okay, there's a mothership, and
With
you guys are
probes.
worried about semantics. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's ready to launch probes at Earth.
I mean, we got Project Bluebeam ready to go, and you guys are worried about UAPs. I mean, it's just maybe it's just part of getting the public, it's just putting it out there and building the public's interest up, by oh, are they going to call it this or that, or just putting the information out there? I mean, I don't know. I can't think of any other reason why they would be worried about that.
I just think it's hilarious that their number 1 question is what to name the question that they're going to ask, when the question should be, what do we do now that we pretty much know
how do we
they're
protect
here?
ourselves?
Right?
What do we do to protect ourselves against alien invaders? I mean,
There
how
you
about
go.
that?
Let's talk
Let's
about
not
that.
worry-
That should be number 1.
But it makes sense. Oh, I'm not going there, but I'm just saying it makes sense labeling things. I'm a remote viewer. We're taught not to label things. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to
No,
say.
that's a good rule. Yeah.
Don't label things. Just it is what it is. Okay. there's that. There's that. I'm going to leave it right there.
I
Okay?
think that, yeah, that's a good way to go about things, just presenting data or information or whatever.
Put your data out there. There's something flying in the sky. We don't know what this is. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's not
Let's-
fight over what it is. Let's not
semantics.
pay $1 million to a think tank to figure out what to call this thing. Okay.
I 100%
Just saying.
agree with you. Their number 2 question is, why is NASA involved with studying UAP? Great question. Number 2 answer is, exploring the unknown in space and the atmosphere is at the heart of who we are. Cheese, just cheese. The nature of science is to better understand the unknown, but the language of science is data. So the limited number of high-quality observations of unidentified anomalous phenomenon, or UAP, currently makes it impossible to draw scientific conclusions about the nature of such events. And so without access to an extensive set of data, it's impossible to verify or explain any observation. Thus, the focus of the study is to inform NASA what possible data could be collected in the future to shed light on the UAP. And so NASA is commissioning the UAP Independent Study Team to examine unidentified anomalous phenomenon from a scientific perspective, with a focus on how NASA can use this data and the tools of science to move the understanding forward. Single tear. Just a single tear is rolling down my cheek as I read this, because they're so far off here. It's just...
Sounds
isn't
like
it?
a lot of wasting money. I'm just saying.
I mean, they could have saved money in text right
Yeah.
here. It just... because that was just a non-answer in my opinion. Number 3, they're saying, when will the independent studies report be released to the public? Great question also. And so they're just saying mid-2023, nothing specific. Fantastic. Thanks for more of that. And so number 4, what will the independent studies report cover when it's released to the public? And so the team's main focus of the report is to come up with a way in which to evaluate and study UAPs going forward by using data, technology, and tools of science. And so it's not in a review of UAP incidents. The report will be published with the intent to inform NASA on what possible data could be collected in the future and how it can be collected to shed light on UAP. Number 5, will this be a National Academy study? No, this will not be an Academy study. So no papers written or peers written or peer groups to study the topic or papers written. Number 6, what is the difference between an independent study versus an independent review board? This is just boring semantics. We don't need to know. Number 7, can the public and media view the independent study meetings? NASA expects to hold a full public meeting of the UAP Independent Study Team in the late spring, early summer of 2023, and the meeting will be broadcast to the public. Yay! That will be so much fun. I'll be sure to be there for that. Number 8 is, what can the public expect to see after the report is released? So after a full report is released to the public in conjunction with NASA's principles of openness, transparency, and scientific integrity, after the
Wait.
report... Oh, yeah.
NASA is open and has integrity.
I know,
Just
this
kidding.
is...
This is all kind of funny to me.
If it wasn't coming from the
is this real?
website, I would think it's science fiction. That
Is this real life? I'm just saying.
It's not the NASA I know.
Not the NASA I've heard of. Right. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
I'm sorry,
that's
Tim.
great. That was perfectly timed. It really is, because NASA is going in with an open mind, and they expect to find that explanations will apply to some events and different explanations will apply to others.
Okay.
I mean, that right there. Oh, just we will
Okay,
not
NASA.
underestimate
We
what the
see you,
natural world
NASA.
contains. They're already saying that they will not underestimate what the natural world contains, and we believe there's a lot to learn about the natural world.
I
NASA.
learned a lot on that gravitron when I was in 6th grade.
Yeah, don't get on a gravitron.
Dizzy. Just taking you
After-
for a ride. NASA takes you for a ride.
Well,
That's
they
what that
feed
is.
you burritos
Right.
in the cafeteria, and then you get on the gravitron.
burritos. Not Hooters.
Rocket-shaped burritos.
Rocket. Yes.
I'm so sorry. We went
Oh
to
my
a
gosh.
whole
It's
nother
been a
level there.
long night, Tim. I'm sorry.
No, it's been a great
Went off
night.
on a
In fact, we
tangent.
can wrap it, but
It
we
was
don't
really
need to read
funny.
more of this because it's huge.
This has been so. I don't want this to end. I'm having so much fun taking over the captain's chair for Dave, man.
Yeah, well, you're doing a great job. You
Thank
really
you.
are. It's been a fun night. It really has.
It
Travis
has
is
been
great.
so much fun. It has
You-
really been fun.
You've made some friends tonight, haven't you?
I have. Well, I made a friend in you. You're my new friend. And yeah,
for sure.
we have a great chat, and everybody that's watching tonight.
I haven't been reading chat, to be honest. I don't, because it's so
have.
distracting. I'm not a good multitasker.
I wasn't
Tends-
either. Listen, I've been doing shows for a little over a year now, and it
I've
took
been
me a
watching.
while to get used to that. It
Yeah.
took me a while. When I was at KGRA, I never did chat at all. I couldn't deal with it. It was too much. But came to Space Out Radio, it's a requirement. So I'm getting better at it.
That's great.
And,
Well, your
yeah.
shows are fantastic. I know you have a
Thank
massive
you.
following, and I can't like even wrap my head around some of the stories being real. Like that stuff, I'm gonna be honest, it's scary to me. Dave doesn't like hearing me say it. I'm like, if we went Bigfoot hunting, the first crack of a stick I heard out in the woods, I would be such a tiny speck of dust on the horizon. You would just be like,
Really?
Where did he
Oh.
go? Gone. Just poof.
You get used to it, you know.
Do you?
We call it being inoculated. We're inoculated to the high strangeness.
Okay.
My team, like we're old veterans at this stuff. Like most of us that grew up having ghost experiences, ghosts, which now a lot of us think a lot of our ghost encounters were actually ETs.
How do you know? I mean,
don't
does
know
it come
for
with
sure.
experience?
It does.
Like-
It comes with experience. It comes with the experience of experiencing ghosts as being young, and then having the ET experiences and it being the same phenomenon, but just in a different body, if that makes sense. Like what the ghosts were doing or what the ETs are doing. Standing around your bed, talking to you without their mouths moving, and things like that, telepathy and the timing of it, and all the stuff. There's a lot of factors to it. So
Yeah.
we don't know for sure, but yeah, all roads lead back to ETs. That's what we like to say.
Really?
Yes.
That's cool. Is that truly how you feel about the
Yes.
whole phenomenon leads back to ET?
Yes.
And you feel like it could be an ultra terrestrial, potentially from here, it's always been here kind of thing?
Perhaps.
Or do you have a concept on where they're from?
Yeah. Well, I used to think that ETs came from outer space. Now I don't think so anymore.
Parallel
Yeah.
universe?
I mean, some of them could, but the more that I do the remote viewing, and I'm trained in that pretty extensively, and a lot of the things that I've remote viewed seem to come from, I think it's interdimensional, just another dimension, perhaps. I did remote view. I got in a lot of trouble over, I'm taught that it's not appropriate to remote view the moon and all that kind of stuff, and to talk about it publicly, and I got a little bit of trouble for that.
Okay.
So there's certain things that are off limits. There's a reason, obviously, why. But yeah, I'm not going to talk about that tonight.
Yeah, that sounds deep
I
and
got a
cool.
little bit of trouble. Yeah,
It's
we'll
been a
talk about it in
pleasure
Vegas,
meeting you.
Tim. How about
Yeah.
that?
That is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so
So-
much for tonight. It's been a fun UFO report with you. And so I will
Yeah.
leave you here to do the closing, shall I?
Awesome. Yes. Listen, I'll take you down, Tim. Thank you so much for being here tonight. You're
Right on.
awesome. I'll see
Thanks.
you in Vegas. It's
Right
nice to
on.
meet you. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. See ya. All right, everybody. Thank y'all so much for being here tonight. This has been so much fun. I'm kind of sad because I don't want to leave the captain's chair at Spaced Out Radio. I've had so much fun the past 2 days. You guys know I will be here tomorrow night. Off the trails. I'm going to have Nick Valente here. We're going to have a Dogman report tomorrow. And then I have Jesus Payan Jr. coming on Sunday night. We're going to be talking about a little bit of hidden history, human resets, archaeology. He's kind of an archaeologist, okay? And so we're going to be talking about that. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank y'all so much for being so amazing. Thank you to Travis Moostoos for being here. Travis Willier Moostoos. And yeah, thank you guys so much. It's been awesome. Okay, let me see if I can find these buttons down here to close us out tonight. Thank you to everyone who gave us super chats and super stickers over the past couple of days tonight. You guys are very much appreciated here at Spaced Out Radio. And please visit me this weekend. And also, go to my YouTube channel, The Cryptid Huntress. You guys, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Join my Patreon, The Cryptid Huntress. And visit my shop, War Woman Goods. And visit us in Vegas, May 19th through the 21st. I will see y'all tomorrow night. Everybody have a wonderful night. I'll see y'all.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.